So, I want to fucking go live. Her fucking her devices start to go. The fuck. I'm curious about this. Kind of want to know as to the fuck is with the beard. The beard kills me. I need to watch this. I haven't seen it before, so I guess we're gonna.
My name is Joey B. The founder of Blind Knowledge. I am also the host here on Knowledge This Degree. You can catch Knowledge This Degree right here on Blind Knowledge Network. We are on Twitter at Pod This Degree. And of course, Blind Knowledge is at blindknowledge.com. If you keep refreshing that screen, that website will pop up. I swear. I promise. It might not be right now, but it will pop up. Just keep refreshing F5 it. You'll see it eventually. And when it is up, it's going to be shiny and miraculous. I can't wait. Blind Knowledge, we're all over the place. Blind Knowledge is on Facebook at Blind Knowledge. We're on Instagram at The Blind Knowledge. We're on TikTok at The Blind Knowledge. Twitch at The Blind Knowledge. And on Twitter at Blind_Knowledge, because I got to figure out who owns Blind Knowledge on Twitter. That's my next thing on my 80-mile to-do list, to figure out who that cat is.
I don't know.
But anyway,
who this guy
welcome
is.
back to another live streaming episode. And if you're not watching us live, well, then you're probably listening to us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. So welcome. This is specifically the Behind the Content series, where we talk to podcasters, we talk to artists, we talk to musicians, and we talk to digital content creators. Oh, and gamers and live streamers as well, about what makes them tick. What brought them to the game, sort of say. You know, why this industry? Why do it at all? Why keep doing it? What makes you want to be a content creator? So that's the scope and the heart of it. Really is, what makes them tick, what makes why, who, where, what's the influence there? So basically, that's it in a nutshell. Behind the content. And today we have a very cool gentleman by the name of Steven. Hello, Steven.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yo, man, I'm doing good.
I'm sorry. I need Dragon. I fucking need Dragon. I need Dragon. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. What the fuck? What the fuck did she just send me? The fuck is this? Now I'm concerned. Oh my fucking god, she sent me the cat. Oh, fucker. You really need to come the fuck up here. I'm sorry. I can't do this alone. I'm fucking dying right now. I can't. I'm dead. The face. It's the face that kills me. I'm putting it back towards the beginning because I don't want Dragon to feel the need. That's the first thing that he has to see when he pops in. Although I don't know why I went on to a different tab just to send him the fucking link when I had fucking Discord open. So now we're just gonna wait for Dragon. Oh, I'm fucking dead right now. I can't unsee that. I've seen him obviously with the beard before. But not like that. What the fuck? Oh, I'm like fucking crying. Not like, oh, I'm sad crying. Laughing inside kind of a cry. That's. How do I not know that that was something that happened? Let alone, why the fuck did that not pop up till now? I'm truly kind of mad with YouTube about that. I'm more likely playing cat and mouse with the StreamYard right now. I say that because of the last time I streamed on the Ghost channel, I used a different StreamYard account because this account wasn't letting me for a while. You know, it said it was going to reset on a specific day, and it didn't. So that day I used a different StreamYard account. But it is what it is. So, you know, if it happens again, it happens again. Meaning I will still have access to the other account. So basically, there might be a point where I'm going to be playing cat and mouse with fucking StreamYard for like a good ass while. Jane, you need to see this. I typed in For the Booze because they have some new episodes going on and I was gonna watch them. When I typed in For the Booze podcast, something popped up. Which is this video. And apparently this video was created fucking 2 years ago. Now, I want you to fucking see as to what I cannot unsee now. I'm trying to hold it in, but I can't. It has to do with Steve. Technically, it's Steven. I don't know why we made it as just Steve in the title. But, you need to see this. I paused it at a point where it showed what was going on, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the beginning.
My name is Joey B. I the founder of Blind Knowledge. I am also the host here on Knowledge This Degree. You can catch Knowledge This Degree right here on Blind Knowledge Network. We are on Twitter at Pod This Degree. And of course, Blind Knowledge is at blindknowledge.com. If you keep refreshing that screen, that website will pop up. I swear. I promise. It might not be right now, but it will pop up. Just keep refreshing F5 it. You'll see it eventually. And when it is up, oh, it's going to be shiny and miraculous. I can't wait. Blind Knowledge, we're all over the place. Blind Knowledge is on Facebook at Blind Knowledge. We're on Instagram at The Blind Knowledge. We're on TikTok at The Blind Knowledge. Twitch at The Blind Knowledge. And on Twitter at Blind_Knowledge, because I got to figure out who owns Blind Knowledge on Twitter. That's my next thing on my 80-mile to-do list, to figure out who that cat is. But anyway, welcome back to another live streaming episode. And if you're not watching us live, well, then you're probably listening to us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. So welcome. This is specifically the Behind the Content series, where we talk to podcasters, we talk to artists, we talk to musicians, and we talk to digital content creators. Oh, and gamers and live streamers as well, about what makes them tick, what brought them to the game, sort of say. Why this industry? Why do it at all? Why keep doing it?
Be prepared.
What makes you want to be a content creator? So that's the scope and the heart of it. Really is. What makes them tick, yo? Why? Who? Where? What's the influence there? So basically, that's it in a nutshell. Behind the content. And today, we have a very cool gentleman by the name of Steven. Hello.
Look at how fucking beard it is. I can't. I can't unsee that now. I'm fucking straight up a diamond's head.
My heart.
And this is my fucking...
My heart.
I know.
The beard.
This is my fucking uncle, apparently 2 years ago.
Wait, no, you're shitting me, right?
I'm not kidding. This was streamed 2 fucking years ago, and I fucking didn't know till now.
I don't know what nickname for your uncle now. Woodsman.
Huh?
Like, hello, Woodsman. Good to see you, Woodsman.
Steven.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yo, man, I'm doing good.
God,
I'm doing good. So, guys and girls and everybody, this is Steven. He is the host of Break On Through podcast. You can catch Break On Through all over the place.
That's old.
Of course, they're on Spreaker, they're on Spotify, they're on Apple. They are everywhere.
So this
anywhere
podcasts
are available.
That's it, man.
What?
I mean, this before he met his girlfriend. Or the woman he found.
Actually, no. He's been with Megan for more than 2 years.
Okay, I'm just gonna listen in.
Yeah, no, this is kind of awkward, to be honest with you.
My heart. He acts scared me like oh.
I don't know who the fuck this blind dude guy is, but this was one of the thumbnails on that video. And I'm like, no, that can't be right. So I clicked on it, and he popped up. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I'm very, very curious now.
So, Steven, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I got to be a guest on your show not too long ago on Break On Through, and it was a great time. Such an easy interview. So smooth, so chill. And now,
wait a minute. You fucking just said Break On Through. God fucking damn it, Steven. What the fuck? Break On Through is one of Steven's other podcasts, but for music. She's not even here to fucking answer that, so. Yeah, I don't know if I can really find that podcast. Going through. Oh, well, apparently it showed up at the bottom. Yeah, the last thing that was posted on that really was 2 fucking years ago.
Next time we in a podcast call in the panel call with him, I have so many nicknames I can call him right now. Oh, the sweet revenge.
Here's the thing. So, not only is Break On Through a podcast just for like about music and stuff,
Hmm.
but like he interviews other musicians, some other shit. Just
Hmm.
basically that has to do with music. Well, didn't know in the info of it, it says, "Hi, my name is Steve, and my entire life I have been submerged in music," which is quite true. He does have
Yeah.
guitars and stuff. Growing up, my father was a local celebrity and amazing musician. That I fucking did not know. And I know his father because he was my first grandfather.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but weird ass history, there's a child.
Well, I didn't know he was a fucking musician.
You should learn better.
I haven't seen
No.
Steven in person since I was like fucking 11. Okay?
No, I don't give a rat ass. You,
Shut
I
the
don't
fuck
care.
up.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, also, I'm going to tell you this right now before I forget. Guess who's alive?
Barack Obama.
No. Name 2 people that we hadn't talked to, with one
Shape.
of them for a while and the other one for like more than a year.
Shape and the monkey one.
Yes. Yep, Shape is alive, and so is Sunlink is obviously still alive as well. I'm assuming you know that because you saw that he joined my Discord server.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
No, I actually did not.
Oh,
Right.
well, he knows about you know who.
Jess. Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
you know, I don't even mind saying the name.
I know.
Is that the Voldemort name? Because you cannot say the Voldemort name. Snake Man. What the hell? The noise I even heard? Hold on. I heard a weird sound buzzing noise over there.
Your phone and messenger has been going off.
So when you gonna have your microphone, huh? Wait a minute. I just realized. So, he's like, Grandmama, I'm gonna have my microphone on now.
Yeah,
But at
'cause-
least I know what it is.
yeah, but now it's already
I know
driving
it
me nuts. Because I'm sitting here and it's keep going off when you're not here.
Did you hear it going off in there when I was doing my diamond painting?
Yes.
It keeps stopping.
I know.
Ugh,
It sounded like you was having a stroke.
I almost did a couple times, I think.
Your grandma was roasting your
Oh,
ass.
it's
This is the
actually not
best.
bad out now. See?
Oh, I love
The
this.
rain cools down a bit and then breeze.
Oh, this is amazing. I think I like this now. Your grandma was roasting
Oh,
your
The
ass.
tables have turned, my friend. The
resident, what
tables
they tell me
have
now.
indeed turned.
Again?
And now I got you on my podcast. So it's time to shine the spotlight over on Steve and break on through. Steve, man, you have such a good podcast. What made you get started in podcasting in general?
Well, I've been listening to podcasts for years, but what really made me jump into it was, I mean, just like a lot of us, the pandemic really sparked it. But growing up, my father was a musician, and
Cool.
as awesome as he was, he never really had a breakout moment or a place to, I don't know, he didn't have the platforms that we have today to be able to do this. So I wanted to kind of create a podcast that would shine a light on musicians or people in the music industry or whatever, that would kind of help them push their message and their name or their music out there, maybe bring it to somebody who's never heard of it, because I truly believe that everybody's favorite musician is one that you've never heard, and they're out there and they're waiting to like be discovered. And there's so many great talented people, and the fact that I get to meet so many of them is honestly, it's enough of why I do it. I love doing it.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So basically, you're getting behind the musician.
Absolutely.
life.
I like to start it out. I have local level musicians. I don't like calling them that because I do have guys that tour, but the majority of them, they're on a local level. They just haven't had their break yet. I've had quite a few people on my show that are really just a stone's throw away from getting a deal.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm lucky enough that I've had them on my show. You're one of them, Joey. Hey, look, man,
Oh,
your
gee
show,
whiz.
listen,
Gee
your
willikers.
episode quickly became one of the most popular episodes in 7 days. 7 days.
7 days. Hey,
Pat
I'll
yourself on
take
the
that.
back, man.
I'll take that. I will take that pat on the back. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
It was a great show,
sure.
man. It really was. It was the easiest conversation I've had. But
It was.
but these
so
people,
easy.
there's so many people out there that are, I feel like they just get passed by, and it's such a shame.
True.
Because I don't know, there's just so much untapped talent out there, and I want to meet them all, and I want to have them all on the show, and I want them all to put their message out there, and if I can just help one of them, it'd be worth it.
That's awesome. So it's just getting the word out and just being an announcement post almost for these up and comers and almost professionals, and probably some professionals as well. That's great. And some of it must come from being a guitarist yourself. You play a little bit of sixth string.
I play a little bit, yeah. I've kind of
Okay.
bounced back and forth throughout my life. Like I said, growing up, my father was a guitar player, and I always thought I was going to have this like inherent talent to play guitar, but it just doesn't work that way. So I mean, I'm kind of like I like to refer to myself as the living room legend. I'm never going to do anything with it.
The
I like
living room legend. I love that.
I play for my kids and my wife, and for me, and I enjoy it. I record a little bit here and there, but uh, I'm 41, and I just kind of feel like that ship has kind of sailed for me, and I want to focus more on, I don't know, kind of like being a vocal promotional kind of guy for people out there if I can.
Okay.
Just spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word, spread the love that way, basically. But I don't know, man. Bob Weir is still touring these days. He's still out there. It's a tough thing to never let go of. You never know what's going to happen.
Honestly, Joey, I've hit a point where, I've got 4 kids and a wife. I'm pretty content with just being the guy at home behind the microphone. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. Responsibilities and comfort and all that. That's
Sure.
some good stuff. And then, yeah, that's invaluable right there for sure. Wow. You mentioned your dad. Big influence for you growing up
Huge.
and just in general. Yeah.
Huge. My dad is such a phenomenal guy. He's a bit of a talker. But I mean, I had him on my podcast, so it was a great ordeal. But he has got to be he's got to be the best guitar player I've ever met. I mean, he is
Really? Wow.
phenomenal. He's phenomenal, and he tried to get his big shot. He was I think it was like in the early '90s, or maybe he went down to Nashville to try to see if he could make something happen. But he kind of got comfortable doing he was a local legend. I mean, if you go back to where I'm from, where where I'm from, people they know him. They know him. He's well known up there, and he's went out on tour with like Jimmy Buffett. He's played with like Jim Cafferty and the Beaver Brown. Like he's played with all like these kind of like old school legendary people, but he was just never
That's
really
awesome.
able to get the ball rolling in his corner. He was never really able to make it happen for himself. And it bums me out because he really was. He's such a great guy, man. He would have been like such a great like celebrity. He would have been awesome at it.
It's cool though. It's cool to have someone to look up to and for a reason why you do things and reason why you are the way you are. I mean, you said your dad has the gift for gab, and obviously that's been passed down. That's a trait that you have because on Break On Through on your podcast, it's very your questions are just simple and easy and well phrased.
Thanks,
But
man.
open-ended. They're enough where it's like, all right, I can take this on a magic carpet ride wherever I want to go with it, which is pretty cool.
Well, it's like I tell people when they come on, I don't want to put the focus of my show isn't my show. And I don't ever want it to be my show. It's not about that. I want it to be all the guest show. Okay. Everybody who comes on, it's your show. When you come on, I don't want to ask you the complex questions. I want you to tell a story about where you came from and where you want to go. And I want you to put out the message that you want to put out, not the message I think I want you to put out, not the message I think people want you to say. I want people to come on and say what they want to say. I want them to push what they want to push or promote what they want to promote. So I try to keep it open-ended. That's always been the goal since day one.
That's cool. So it's an announcement post. Really, it's a way to get the word out. It's a promotional block, and it's a good way to do it. I mean, that's basically what I'm doing here is promoting and pushing and trying to get to the bottom, the roots of the content makers, especially the ones over at Blind Knowledge. Don't forget about us. We're at blindknowledge.com. Just click refresh a bunch of times, and you might the website sometime soon. Anyway, getting back to Steve's Break On Through podcast. You can catch him on Spotify. You can catch him on Twitter, man. You can catch him all over the place. You know what I've noticed, man, is the podcast community, especially on Twitter. It's welcoming. It's warm.
Very.
It's not how it used to be. It used to be a little more cutthroat, a little more competitive, and I'm sure some still are, but from what I've found, getting back into Twitter, back into the industry myself, is that it's become more wholesome, more welcoming, and then there's like patches of communities of podcasts that all kind of follow each other and do these Twitter spaces. I mean, have you found that it's been welcoming overall?
Absolutely. I haven't actually been around the podcast world for too long, but I've kind of grown become like part of this little pod family on Twitter. And you're right. It's a very welcoming thing. I've heard stories of kind of back in the day, it was cutthroat because there weren't as many shows. So everybody was kind of clawing their way to the top.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's more like people will stop from their show to help you with your show, or they'll say, like, send me a promo for your show. I'm going to throw it on my show and try to get you some more downloads and listens. And it's all very back and forth, and everybody is super tight, but I love it. Without the pod community on Twitter, I don't think Break On Through would have ever honestly happened, because I had a lot of problems in the beginning being the new guy on the block. I couldn't get people to commit to coming on the show. And it was through people like Pixie, which she's from Next on Stage One and Project Podcast with Pixie, and my boy Rick Horn from the Piggly Dog, my boy Vinny from Chat Smash. And all these guys, they like helped me kind of develop my skill at what I'm doing. So without them, I don't think my show would have ever got off the ground. And now it's like I'm part of the family. I mean, so if you want to start a podcast, I can't tell people enough. Start your podcast. Come out there. You never know who you're going to meet. Yeah, that's how I ended up on Blind Knowledge with you. I mean, I avoided anybody who was like, join this group. But
As you should.
yeah, but you were such a genuine guy
should.
with such a solid message, and like you seemed to know the direction you wanted to go, and I liked it. You sold me like instantly. Like you didn't even ask me to be on it, and I was sold. Like it was such a good idea. But yeah, the podcast community is freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so big. It's so big that you kind of need that camaraderie. You can't just go at each other. I mean, it's not like there's like 32 teams like it's football, like NFL, but there's like 750,000 active podcasts or somewhere around there, or maybe even 1.2 million. I saw as a number on another site just in the US. And now it's just starting to expand over to India, starting to get bigger in Australia,
Everywhere.
Europe especially. Yeah, it's even China. I saw a map the other day of China is on there. It's it's very well established here where we are in the US, but it's starting to go global and starting to it's starting to become a thing. It's the thing as it has over here because of course we always had we had MP3s and Napster. Before that we were going with Strawberries and
Strawberries. God, this is
Strawberries.
strawberry. This is the second time somebody's brought up strawberries to me in like 3 weeks. This is awesome.
Strawberries. Go there, get a CD. Check out the CDs and the
I used to love that
whatever
stuff.
else is in there. Yeah, man, I used to hang out in there.
I have. Oh, I did too. I love that story. Music stories are great. I have 2 podcasts. I have my podcast that I do, and I have another podcast that I do with my wife. And I think that podcast at this point, we've hit every continent and almost every country so far.
Wow.
So I've noticed that. Yeah. The other one blew up. I don't know what happened. It just like a bomb went off.
What's the
But,
name of it? What's the name of it?
It's called For the Booze. It's kind of like a comedy mixed with paranormal stuff. Like basically me and my wife, we spend a lot of time watching paranormal YouTube stuff and paranormal shows. It's just it's our common thing that we have together. It's what we love to do.
Interesting.
So we took our sitting around the living room talking trash about it and said, hey, we should probably make this something. And it was actually my original plan for a show was not Break On Through. It was this other one, but I couldn't get her to come on. And my second episode of Break On Through, if anybody wants to go back and listen to it, it's actually a really good episode. It's me and my wife sitting in the living room talking about her band days back in high school, reading sheet music and playing in the band. But after she I got a taste of that, she was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's go ahead and do a show. And I was like, the ball started rolling from there. But it's a lot of fun. It's funny, but you got to like take it with a grain of salt. We do kind of talk a little trash on that show. So
Fair.
it's fun.
Oh, trash isn't so bad, switches it up a little bit. And now you've taken this one-on-one conversation and given it to the masses because why not?
It's a peek into my living room, man. That's all it is.
Great. That's great. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. Hey, if you're just tuning in right now, I see some new watchers, new followers right there. This is Knowledge This Degree. I'm here over with Steve from Break On Through Podcast. We are presented by Blind Knowledge. Check it out, Blind Knowledge. Place. And man, we're just hanging out behind the content series, trying to get to know our content creators over Blind Knowledge and then other people too. I'm doing some interviews with musicians and comedians and just all these wacky cats that are into this stuff. And I think you got to be a little wacky to get into any kind of creativity, don't you think?
I find like a common thing with most podcasters is we're a bit reclusive, all of us, and
I've
like
noticed that too.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's something we all have, but I think you got to be a little crazy to podcast, man, to sit there and come up with a story and put it down and then spend all your free time editing it and then chasing the numbers and making the friend. It really does. It consumes your life. It really does. I hate to say it, but it does. It consumes your life. It is literally a part of my everyday at this point, so
yeah.
But no regrets because it's awesome. I love to do it. It's a lot of fun. I wish I would have started a lot earlier.
Yeah, I hear you. No regrets though.
Yeah, no regrets, man.
That's what's up.
I forgot we were
yeah.
live and people could come in.
Yeah, people are alive. You know, if
Yeah,
anything goes wrong, it's just going to be seen by
Yeah.
everybody.
Sorry,
So
you can blame me.
that's just my style, though. I have a background from college radio to internet radio, and now podcasting, where it's like, well, my style has always just been do it. And that's how it's gonna come out. So here we are. I don't even know if I'm gonna edit these yet. I haven't even decided. Well, why? What we have
Yeah.
is what we have.
I mean, there's kind of something about an unedited interview, honestly, that like when you edit it down too much, you kind of lose
Yeah.
something of it. That's just me though, because I don't edit my interviews. I like to leave in all the crap. Because I feel like it's got a certain charisma to it, like
Yeah,
you can
there's
really see how quirky your people really are,
Yeah,
in all the good
absolutely.
and bad ways, all of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. It depends. It depends. Like if there's some really big screw up, maybe we do edit it a little bit,
Oh yeah.
I probably got to throw some promos somewhere in here. I've been working on figuring out how to do it live, but not yet. I'll get there. Maybe the next one, see what happens. But little things like that, got to figure out like logo but this props to StreamYard. They have a great product and we're going to keep utilizing it over here at Knowledge is Degree for sure. It took me a while to figure out a good video player. Now, getting off topic a little bit, so I'm going to bring it back. Steve, you're over on Good Pods, right? You have
yes.
good numbers on there, dude. Tell us about that.
Yeah, currently, I mean, the last time I checked, anyways, it could be different now, but I am the number one indie and the number one music interview podcast over on Good Pods. As of right now, it's fluctuated here and there, but for the most part, I sit at the top of that list.
That's awesome.
It makes it worth it. I mean, I've never really tried to chase the pod life to get rich or anything, but I think every podcaster would be lying if they told you they wouldn't like to turn it into a career at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's a thing like you'll hear a lot online is people say, I'm not in it for the money or the numbers and stuff. I mean, none of us really came into it for that, but you can't tell me that any one of you would turn it down. I wouldn't. I love it. I love doing it.
I do too. I hear you. Yeah, it becomes part of you. It becomes like what you focus on, what drives you, and then it's like, all right, how do I start living off of this so I can spend more of my time doing what I love doing and sink more hours into this beast that I've just created that has a mind of its own. And it's like you got to keep up with it too. You got to stay consistent, especially when you see your viewership and your audience growing. It's exciting. And then like for you, man, you hit number one. I mean, shit.
I feel like networking is such an underrated thing that people forget about. Is like when you do a podcast, it's not just about putting on a quality podcast or anything. Because I'll be honest, like quality, if you like music, then fine. Yeah, my podcast is quality, but I'm literally recording a podcast off of all the equipment that I just had laying around from recording music. But it doesn't matter what I'm trying to get at. See, I'll derail this quick, buddy. I will get us off topic.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'll bring us back. No worries.
Yeah. But like what I'm trying to get at is no matter how quality of a podcast you have, if you don't network it to people, nobody's going to hear you unless you get lucky.
Right.
You just, you just kind of get it one day. But networking is just such an underrated thing. And that could be something as simple as like what we said at the beginning of this. Like, I just learned to make friends in the podcast community, and that alone will do wonders for the show. But be good to the people, like give shout outs and, put people's promos in your show. And
oh yeah, just talk about them a little bit. Put the
be
name
good
out
people.
there.
Be a good person, man.
Exactly.
Just be a good person.
Exactly. Spread the love and the cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. It's all about community. It's all about entertainment, and it's informative over here, at least the Blind Knowledge that Steve is a part of will break on through, and many others have committed to the cause. It's all about information, man. It's all about entertaining. So it's informative and entertaining, and you get that over break on through for sure. For sure. I mean, do you see yourself branching off in any other way besides, what you're doing now? I know you have a revamp kind of coming up.
I'm gonna be after this coming week's episode. I'm gonna be shutting it down.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna shut it. I'm gonna shut it down for about a month, and I'm gonna come back where it's still gonna be the same show, but I'm going to be adding some new aspects into the show. I don't want to give away too much, but there's going to be more informational. Hey, how you doing?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
No, that was just a car horn. Yeah, whatever.
But there'll be a little more informational aspects, so there'll be a little more research involved in it. I want to bring some stories into it that retain around like maybe some of the more famous musicians and how they became started in the music industry. I like to think that maybe there's some young kids out there that listen to my show and think, oh, I'd love to play guitar, and I want to inspire them. So I want to
Yeah.
add some new things. I want to get some more guests for the show. Maybe some on a little bit of a higher level, and maybe some on a little bit of a lower level. But I want to branch out, and I want to make the show bigger. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. I want to make my
That's
show
cool.
bigger,
Bigger.
all
Bigger.
encompassing of the music world.
Hey, go big or go home, man. You know, it's you gotta either you're gonna do it or you're gonna not do it. So you might as well. And I could definitely picture more well-known guests, and also maybe you get some kids with some local bands in there just talking
Absolutely.
shop. Maybe they'll learn a thing or two. You
That's
never
what I'm
know.
working on. Hey man, you
You're
hit
right.
it right. You hit it right on the nose, Joey.
Right on. Right on, yeah. And I noticed we're both repping the Pats. This
Oh,
is
yes,
a
sir.
Patriots hat as well. I got the alternative, but hell yeah, dude.
I
Hell
almost
yeah.
threw on the jersey and the sweater, and I was like, I'll
We
keep
could
it
have
low
done that.
level.
We could have been a Patriots theme, but it is past the Super Bowl. We probably get a lot of hate for it too because everyone hates the Pats.
Actually, listen, now people don't hate the Pats as much anymore now that Tom Brady's gone. Now that because
That's nice.
we're
That's
not we're not the soul crushing team anymore. So
yeah, not anymore. We were for a long time though.
20 years, 20
Yeah.
years,
Oh,
man.
it was great, man. It was great. I was there. I was there in person. I was there on watching on TV. It was just, it's great.
So, side story, right? I was 21, I think, when they won the first Super Bowl with Tom Brady. And I was here in Florida, and me and my sister went out to this bar. Now, if anybody's listening, I don't condone shit like this because it was very dumb. But we went out to this bar, and all night we would do shots and go Patriots, and we would smash them on the ground. And they let this go on for like 4 hours, man. And
wow.
yeah, we almost went to jail. But my sister, she took care of the bill for me. But it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
That was cool. That's cool. It does sound like a lot of fun. A lot of broken glass.
Ton.
A lot of fun. Yeah, that's how that shit goes. I jumped into a pond once because we won the championship. It was a dirty, dirty pond. A lot of pond scumminess happening there. But at that point in time, at my age and the substances that were involved, it didn't matter. It did not matter. The Patriots were winning, and we were jumping in the pond, and that was that.
Was this up north?
Yeah, that was in Rhode Island, actually. Smithfield, Rhode Island. Shout out to Bryan University.
Not too many clean ponds up that way.
No, not especially not in October, November, or whenever it was. I think it was January. Well,
where I'm from, the Taunton River rolled right through town. So
okay.
Yeah, they pulled a lot of dead bodies out of there when I was a kid. So it was pretty gross.
Yeah, it is pretty. That's rough. That's rough.
I got some other stories, but they're not so friendly, so we're gonna leave them off of here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, hey, what can you tell us? Well, what can you tell us that would be really inspirational to someone that is starting a new podcast, that is looking to get into this industry? What should they focus on, in your opinion, that has helped you get to, going from, never doing it to doing the damn thing? Like, what should they focus on?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, don't give up. Have an idea, but don't be afraid to let that idea morph into something other than what it might have started out as. So, I mean, don't get too in love with maybe your first idea. Allow yourself to grow as the opportunity grows. But just keep plugging along. I think a lot of people, the biggest thing is people give up when it gets too hard. And I was a victim of that. I almost gave up because it was getting too hard, and I kind of needed that kick in the butt from somebody to kind of help me out. But honestly, it's really that simple. Just don't give up, and don't be afraid to let it become what it wants to become. There's no shame in straying from your original idea and maybe growing on it or even changing it, but just don't give up. Just keep going. They say most podcasts fail. If they're gonna fail, they fail like within the first 12 episodes or something. So if you can get over that hump, you're kind of locked in. So I mean, just push yourself. Just push yourself to do it. You won't regret it. It's a lot of fun. And get out there and meet people. Go on Twitter and get into the podcast community because those people will really help you out. And yeah, don't give up. Just don't give up.
Don't give up. Hope there is hope, everybody. There's good things. There's good things out there. Podcasting is one of them. I always tell people when they're gonna start podcasting, or if they ask like where do I start? I always say like, all right, well, just start by recording yourself like on your cell phone. Don't even buy a mic yet. Just listen to just either read something or just kind of talk to the phone about whatever. And just like good 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, that's fine. And just listen to yourself back and just listen to how you speak, what your presentation is, the
Inflection. I got you.
the inflections on your voice, your tone, and just like your pauses, your breath. I mean, there's a lot to it, that you don't have to be perfect, but you want to familiarize yourself with your own voice and yourself, and you want to, that's really where you want to start. And then if you're like, okay, this is good, maybe get a mic, maybe start going that route, It just depends. It depends on your drive. It depends on what your plans are. And you should make plans. Figure out, do you want to co-host? Do you not want to co-host? I always encourage a co-host if you're starting off. But in some cases, like with Steve, doing just fine on his own. It just depends on the person and what you're doing. So don't give up hope, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, my co-host is kind of like my guest. Whoever I have on is automatically kind of dubbed my co-host.
Yeah, same here.
But I agree. Like that's always a topic that comes up a lot in podcasting. Is like, well, what do I need to podcast? Well, you don't really need anything. You can do it with a Bluetooth headset. You can do it without it. You can do it straight into your phone. I got a buddy who's 100 episodes in on his podcast, and he's been doing it on a $35 USB microphone, and his show sounds awesome.
That's impressive.
He has a very good quality show. It sounds great. It sounds well put together, and like I said, these like $35, man.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it just depends on where you're at. I mean, that's a deal. Of course, there is a little bit of investment if you're going to do the podcast thing. If you want to be in it and really do it, you got to distribute yourself. So you got to use a distribution service like Spreaker, Anchor. There's a bunch of them. And you gotta just go for it. Do whatever. And like Steve said, actually, go where it takes you. You start with something, but like, for instance, I had no idea we were gonna go here in this conversation.
No.
I don't know. It just did, and it just you kind of just gotta let it go and let it go where it's gonna go. But then you roll back in. There's no, I'll just agree. I'm hanging out with Steve from Break On Through. And that's how you do the thing. That's how you do the thing, Well, Steve, I always love chilling with you. I had such a great time doing an interview on your show. I'm glad you could come on to my show and we did this. Anything else you want to say to anyone out there that's watching or listening about Break On Through, or just anything, any wise words from wise man?
I'm not the wisest man, but if you want to listen to the show, it's Break On Through. It can literally be found on every podcast platform. If you are on Good Pods, please go give me 5 stars and rate my show. That would be great.
5 stars.
But yeah. Just remember, if you do listen, I'm about 17, 18 episodes in right now, so you'll have plenty to listen to. I'll be back in about a month. It'll be bigger and better than ever. I'm actually going to bring it back to what you said about gear. You do hit a point where you will buy some gear.
Yeah.
And both of my shows are about to get a serious upgrade. So
you hit a point. You hit a point where it's like, okay, it's time to upgrade, the sound, because you need good sound. I don't care what anybody says. Sound quality is important in this game. Absolutely. Because no one wants to listen to like just a scratchy, gamey
phone call.
Yeah, phone call. Yeah, no, it's not what you want to hear coming through your car stereo. So
If anybody out there wants to come on the show, or if you want to talk about maybe your music career, or you just want to be a guest, I like to have people on that just talk about how music kind of inspired them growing up. You can email me at breakonthrough, was it breakonthroughpod@gmail.com. And also check out my other show with my wife. If you like paranormal or just like people who make fun of stuff, check it out. It's For the Booze, also on every platform. So check them out. I'd love to have you as a listener and part of the family.
yo, man, that's what it's all about. That's my dude Steve, Break On Through Podcast. Yo, check him out. If you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'll point you in the direction. Come check us out at Blind Knowledge. Blind underscore knowledge on Twitter. The Blind Knowledge everywhere else. We're gonna be promoting Steve. We're gonna be promoting everybody else. And yeah, it's gonna be real good. Steve, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Thank you. Let you go, and
All
I'm
right.
just gonna wrap up with the killer audience we have. And thanks again, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
man, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on, man.
You got it, man. Again, that was Steve, host of Break On Through Podcast. Again, you can check him out on Good Pods. Give him 5 stars over on Good Pods. He's also on Spreaker Scene and Blind Knowledge. That's right, Blind Knowledge. This is the spot. And of course, you're listening to specifically Knowledge This Degree. I'm at Pod This Degree on Twitter. Definitely give me a head. You want to be on? Well, there is an episode of Behind the
Get complete full funnel and cross media.
Welcome to Break On Through, the podcast where we talk to up-and-coming musicians about their journey to the top, from where they started and where they're going. And today I have my father, who's playing the guitar right now.
This message comes from iHeart sponsor Teladoc Health. There are lots of reasons for wanting to be healthy: family, work, or maybe you just want to live a fuller life. Teladoc Health understands. Whether you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or just need to manage your weight, Teladoc Health can help. Visit teladochealth.com/what's your why for more information. That's TELADOC health/what's your why. No matter what your why is, Teladoc Health can help.
Get complete full funnel and cross media ad measurement, including social platforms, with Disco. Leading brands, agencies, and media companies choose Disco to measure brand lift and performance outcomes. Learn why at disqo.com.
I love it. It sounds great. How you doing, Dad?
Good.
Awesome. I'm glad you could be here. I'm glad that you could make it here after your flight. I know you had a long day, but I appreciate you coming through.
No, important.
I don't know if you know this, but I actually started this podcast because of you. I don't know if I ever actually told you that.
Oh yeah, you had a.
Well, growing up around you, you know, I met a lot of like you and your friends and all you musicians and stuff, and it was like everybody tried to make it. And I think that the biggest tragedy in this world is honestly people with such talent that don't make it big. So the idea here is that I want to have people come on here that have that talent and talk about like the journey that they've taken in like through the music industry throughout the years. And I mean, as far as I can remember, you've pretty much been through it all. So
Yeah, I was never really famous, but I went through a lot of stuff.
you were locally famous. There's not a person. There's not a person back home that doesn't know you, which was kind of weird for me growing up because I was never like Steven. I was always, oh, you're Steve's boy.
That was it, too.
So the idea of this is that I want to talk to you kind of about where it started. Take me back to like, I know you said you started when you were like, how old? About 8? 9. Do you remember what it was that got you interested in wanting to like play the guitar and get into music?
Well, I go way back if you want to know.
Oh yeah, I want to go way back.
Why I got interested in music. Like talking to your grandmother about. I used to be home when I was a little boy, and she would put a stack of records on like a small jukebox, 40, and I would take them all and flip them over. And then when I was about maybe 7 or 8, she got me an accordion, so I took lessons, and then they couldn't afford the big one, so she said, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" I said, "Can I have a guitar?" And she said, yeah, and she went to the local Western Auto. Paid $20 for a big hollow body guitar. It was bigger than I was.
This would have been what, like mid-60s?
Oh man,
it would have had to been about mid-60s.
It was probably 68.
Oh wow,
7. And she sent me to this guy, friend of mine, Raymond Donker, greatest teacher ever. And she was friends with the brother and everything. And she said, "You got to promise me one thing. If he's not that good, he says, I won't waste your time. I'll let you know in a few weeks if it's worth teaching him or not." And he said, "Yeah, it's worth keeping going." And
wow,
and that's how I learned to start playing.
So clearly, the teacher saw some kind of potential there. Well, that's awesome.
He said he had 100 students and he had a handful that were worth doing. A friend of mine.
I remember you telling me once that he was kind of strict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what would he do?
I come in, if I didn't learn anything, yell at me, I'd be scared. I was just a shy little boy. I was like terrified.
And back in the 60s, they could really give it to you.
Oh no, he could anyway.
Yeah,
I saw him a few years back. I was playing for St. Mary's School. There was a closing of a Catholic school. He showed up,
No kidding.
and I talked to him in depth for about a half hour.
Man, how long ago was that?
Oh, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh wow, so he's still around.
Oh yeah, he stays at home mostly. He plays and he goes golfing. That's pretty much
Hey,
it.
that sounds like a pretty good retirement.
Which
to
was
me.
he kept going with me even when his wife passed away when his girls were young from cancer, and he still gave me lessons at the house.
Yeah.
But it felt weird going in there.
Yeah.
You know,
Like when you were a kid, did you meet like a lot of other kids that took the same like same class as you, or I guess because you had the same teacher? Well, like I want to get up to you can just set that down there if you want.
hang on, let me get rid of this phone.
Okay. It's probably my sister.
Orlando.
If you want it here, I'll tell you what. Why don't you pass me the guitar and I'll set it on the rack over here. The guitar.
Oh yeah. I didn't know if I was playing anymore.
Well, if we do, we'll set it up in a little bit. But basically, what I was talking about is, like I know that you got to a point where in high school, like with Ricky and stuff, like you got to a point where
That
you
was
were
a big deal.
yeah, well, you were playing in like a band before, I guess what we could consider like the big band you ended up in. Did you meet like how did you meet all them guys? What was the story behind that?
Oh, in high school. Well, I started playing when I was in the 8th grade, and then the freshman year, I met a guy named Rich Ferreira.
Mhm.
He told me he played drums, so we went over his house, and we played, and I had a trumpet player, but it didn't work out. So I went and told Ricky, I says, hey, do you want to play bass? He was a piano player. He says, I played the cello, and I went, well, close enough.
Yeah.
So we got a bass, and he brought it home, and the next day he was playing actual bass.
That's so weird because I know Ricky, and as long as I've ever known him, he's been a keyboard player.
Well, he's a smart guy.
And
he-
talented.
But we set it up, and he ended up getting a bass amp, like a cabinet, a cheap one with a cabinet. I had an amp, and a next door neighbor, Mark Kaczewski, he built like a light show out
Mhm.
of stuff, in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, you were telling me about that. Yeah,
And
that's pretty
we
cool.
started doing gigs, walkathons, girls clubs, anything we could get.
Mhm.
So that's how you get your name out there. So by the time we were done, he was the class president.
Mhm.
We were doing all the pep rallies.
Oh,
And
like
then-
for school?
yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
then we
sick.
were doing like little gigs. We had New Year's Eve gig at this church.
What kind of music were you playing back then?
Well, it was all like rock stuff.
Yeah.
We were doing like Deep Purple music,
All right.
but we weren't that good at it. But we were just, we were like, Bill and Ted.
Yeah, that's awesome though.
But and then we took, we did like Grand Funk and Deep Purple stuff and like, Hendrix. But no, we didn't really do it.
What was your setup like? What were you using when you were playing those
It
shows?
was so long ago, and we was just kids. We had a PA system bought at Radio Shack with bullhorns on each side.
What kind of guitar were you using?
It was a copy of an SG, a Guild copy.
That's
Great
cool.
guitar. Bought it at Trash and Treasure shop.
Man, I bet that thing would be pretty cool now.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
And I had like a little fuzz box, one of those big old metal
muff.
ones.
The
you
big
know.
muff.
Yeah, it was great.
I want one.
Yeah, and that's how we did our gigs.
Yeah.
And we just traveled, to the different places, a couple of cars, and the guy threw his drums in the
Do you
trunk.
remember the name of like your band?
Yeah, it was
Well-
called Axis.
Oh, it's actually pretty good.
Well, he was bass player Ricky. He was a history,
Yeah.
U.S. history guy. He got a degree, and he wanted to name the band after the Axis powers in Europe.
That's cool.
And
That's
so
really cool.
the name was really good to use.
So like AXIS?
Yeah.
Oh man,
So,
that's really
and-
good.
And then we saw the album Axis Bold as Love. And we went, oh crap, we didn't know.
You can't
know?
use that anymore.
And we were like, no, we use the name. But and we played till Ricky went to college. My senior year, we didn't have a band anymore, but we did it for 2 years straight.
Wow.
And we played, every other weekend.
Well, you couldn't have been that bad then. I mean, because
No,
if you were
people-
getting
we got
gigs,
gigs.
yeah,
we
that's
actually
awesome.
got these gigs. The big one was the girls' club.
The girl. See, it's strange for me as your son because like I was born into it by the time you were into Destiny, and I guess I just never really. You always grew up to me as like this figure of like, man, this is the best guitar player I know. He's so cool.
Oh, I wasn't.
No, but I mean that I knew. You're my dad. You were my hero as a kid. I mean, you still are. But what I'm saying is, as a kid, it like I had an episode before this with Megan, and we talked about how we internalize music differently.
Oh, you did?
And I think it's because I grew up having you for a dad, I was always around music. There was never a time that my life wasn't filled with music. I had a jump start on most kids where they hear what their friends tell them to listen to, but I was already subjected to the 60s and 70s and some 50s music. Like my music knowledge was so far beyond kids my age because of you, and it's really given me such a broad appreciation for music as I've gotten older. I listen to I listen to everything.
Well, I'll explain to you about. I wasn't the greatest guitar player. But the talent I had was to get the music right and what to do at a gig. Because a lot of guys are smoking guitar players, singers, but they have no idea how to handle a gig.
Yeah.
And that's their problem. They go out and they get the gigs, but they don't really know how to do it.
Yeah, well, a lot of them haven't been playing for 50 years either.
No, but when
Yeah.
when I was young, though, even we did that.
Yeah.
And we just kind of understood the way it worked.
Yeah.
And like we would make $100 a gig, we'd all get $33, the three of us.
Hey, back
And
in then, that's not bad.
$1 went in the band kitty.
Yeah. So a question that I like to ask everybody is, what was the music that influenced you? And I don't mean like an overall generalization, but like what was the first thing that you heard musically that you were like, man, I want to play rock and roll. I want to be like this person.
Well, I was maybe 10, and we were living in Winton, but we were the guys that were teenagers. They hung out and they smoked pot in the hallway. Right?
Yeah.
But they would come in
They
the
still do.
house, and what they would do is they would bring albums over every time they came. Here, the first album was Doors, Morrison Hotel. I listened to that and it changed my life.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was a Grand Funk Railroad album. And that made me say, wow, they do this too? He brought over Janis Joplin Pearl album. And I said,
Awesome.
and I was like, wow. And then it was the Coup de Grace, the Hendrix album came.
Oh.
And I turned that on. And when I got done listening to it, I took the guitar amplifier with my guitar as a kid, plugged it in, I turned it all the way up, and just practiced making harmonical sounds and like using the feedback to do guitar. And it was like an epiphany. And I went, man, that means I can do anything.
Yeah.
Because I was always, we learned songs like during the age and later, but like the song. I was always and forever will be an improv guy.
Yeah.
I don't like learning songs by the record, and in my life now, I don't need to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I like it when people kind of do their own.
That's what you do.
Yeah, when they do their own version, because there's already somebody doing the original. Now it's time. Like if you're going to learn a song, it's fine to learn the song note for note, but it comes a point where to make it yours, you have to put your spin on it.
What you have to do is very careful, like playing out, is that you make the songs and play it kind of your little spin a little bit, but you have to make sure it still sounds like the original song.
Yeah.
I used to go out and see guys, and you like a friend of mine, Jim Bond, he said the same thing. You'd be watching, and you're waiting for a minute, and you don't even know what the song is, and then you go, "Oh, it's that."
Yeah, you hear the hook or something.
You never do that with somebody's cover music because it's a big mistake.
Yeah,
because you look cheesy and you look lousy.
Yeah, it looks weird. Sounds weird. It sounds weird.
You want your own spin? Write your own song.
All right, so I do have like pre-written down questions. I'm going to throw some out there.
Oh yeah.
The first one I have is: did you ever see yourself doing anything different outside of music, or maybe even in music, but different than just playing the guitar? No.
I had no aspirations as a child. I just figured I'd play until somebody told me to go home.
That's awesome. Hey, but it worked out.
Yeah, and then I learned I could sing. So
man. So you never really thought about doing anything else, huh?
No, as a kid, everybody wants to be the rock star, but you learn pretty quick that your nose goes in the dirt pretty fast.
Man, Grandma doesn't even know how much she changed the course of history for your life.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
do you know that she went without lunch and everything?
I don't doubt that.
Just to give me my guitar.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Grandma's amazing.
She wanted me to do it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
And that was kind of cool.
I have another question, but
please.
We've already answered it.
Well, what is it now?
Did you take lessons or attend music school?
Yeah, but I only took lessons from him from 9 till I was like 15. And one day he said to me, "Well, I taught you everything I can teach you. You're gonna have to either get another teacher or do what you want." And I says, "Well, you know what? I'll just pick stuff up myself and improv."
Yeah.
And I was very happy with that. That's the way I lived.
That's awesome, though.
And when I got into bands where I had to learn note for note, I was very unhappy.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Well, you didn't really get stuck in that too much.
Oh,
Is that what you did in Destiny?
yes.
Oh, I didn't. Man, see, because I was a little kid.
Well,
So-
we had to learn the songs during the 80s. The big thing was you had to learn the song like it was.
Yeah.
Because for guitar work, it wasn't as much work as during the 80s. The keyboard player was taking over all that
Yeah.
role.
Now, did you go straight from? Well, you couldn't have. So, what did you do after Ricky went off to college? And
I played solo for a short while in a couple lounges in Taunton. I was really young. And
see, this is something I've never actually
and
asked
they-
you
and-
before.
But people came. I used to play the Pepper Pot in Taunton. It was a place called the Pepper Pot, and I had like an amp, and I put a microphone and guitar in it, and they put it in the corner of the room, and I would they had a piano bar. I would sit behind the piano bar up on a high chair and just play songs.
So you guys never thought to like keep the band together, but just
No,
replace
because
Ricky?
he was going off to Stonehill, and then he went to UMass, and it just
Yeah.
didn't work out. And then
UMass.
people would come into this place because I worked at the state school, and my friends from the day shift would come in to hear me. They'd be drinking, but they went home early, and then the night shift would come in.
Hey, greatest place you ever worked. You wouldn't have had me.
I know, but it was so it was a long night.
Yeah.
There was a lot of drinking. I drank like a fish back then.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll probably get into that part, but I know you have a history.
But yeah, and people would just buy beers, put money in your jar. You know, back in the 70s, like in the late 70s, I was going home with $100 in my pocket. And that was big money back then. That's like bringing home $300 cash in your
Yeah.
pocketbook now.
That's nice.
And I would be like, this is great. I'm working this job. I mean, I got to clean like, floors and toilets, but I'm also putting a bunch of money in my
Yeah.
pocket the other way around.
Now, see, I never knew you had a solo thing before Destiny. I'm surprised I've never
to be
asked
honest
you this.
with the way I started, when I started playing, I was on the bed playing, and a guy came in the room and started listening to me. A couple of those teenagers, and they were like blown away. Next thing you know, I was out in the porch, and it'd be like 10 or 15 people gathering around, and I'd be playing songs. I was like 10,
Wow.
right? And I got a lot of experience with the nuns. The nuns, like 3 or 4 nuns at the convent, played guitar.
Mhm.
And so they were teaching me songs.
Wow. So wait, so the nuns at the convent played guitar?
Yeah, they had 3 or 4 of them that did.
Holy cow.
So I would go over there, and they would teach me songs for church, and sometimes I'd play at church with them. But in the other side of it, I was bringing in pop songs like Simon and Garfunkel and teaching them this stuff.
Oh, it's so weird to hear somebody from
they-
your generation say pop songs.
And let
Because
me tell you, I got beat up in the schoolyard a lot for that. but
Really?
it was worth it.
So are you telling me that a lot of that stuff? Because here's the crux of this: is like you say pop songs. I think they're not really pop from your generation. They're like classic rock and
Yeah, but
folk.
these were like actual pop songs.
No, yeah,
like-
but when I hear pop, because I'm part of a newer generation, I think Michael Jackson
yeah,
or.
well, it's a different. it was a
Well, that's
different
what I
one.
mean. So it's strange to.
Well, I was bringing them songs like from Simon and Garfunkel
Yeah, but Simon and Garfunkel's classic.
and what's some of the other ones I brought in? I would.
James Taylor.
Yeah, I don't think there wasn't even James Taylor time yet.
No, wow.
But I
Jeez.
just songs out of the songbook of classic, like pop songs of the day, Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
There was some other ones too, but and they really enjoyed it.
So you were playing this with the nuns.
Yeah, and I got made fun of in the schoolyard.
That is
and
so
all this stuff, and,
weird.
but it was great. So you're learning stuff too now.
Well, that's what I think, doing like a podcast like this is cool because you get to talk to somebody your age and find out that like you were getting beat up not maybe getting
Oh,
beat
yeah,
up, but
well,
you were getting
oh,
picked
yeah.
on. But you were getting picked on for playing stuff like Three Dog Night,
Oh yeah.
which, those are like catalog classics, man.
Oh yeah.
So it's super strange how history has changed musically.
I brought them in, me and Bobby McGee, and the nuns
That's
loved
a-
playing that.
That's
with
an
us.
amazing song.
I don't know it anymore, but we used to have a good time doing it.
Oh man, I would love to hear that.
I could play the chords still. I had a couple girls sit in when I used to play solo doing it.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, it was just crazy. And what happened was it kind of went away for a while
Mhm.
because then I went to middle school. Well, I went to 7 grades, and then they built a middle school, so it was 1 grade in Catholic school. I went there, and so the music teacher, Sister Rose, came up to me. I was looking at a piece of music. She goes, "You seem to know what you're looking at." I says, "I do, right? Because I read music. I don't bother with that anymore." But
Oh, dude, I
And
wish
then
I could
she-
read music.
and then she said to me, "Well, you play an instrument? Oh, yeah, I play the guitar. I sing too. And she goes, why don't you bring it in and play in front of the class? Now, I was a shy kid. I'm like, oh my God. I had intestinal cramps. I was so nervous. So I brought it in the next day and I played House of the Rising Sun. I'll never forget it.
This message comes from iHeart sponsor Teladoc Health. There are
Measurement, including social.
Graduation up on the stage. And everybody just stopped and stared like they couldn't believe a little kid was doing that.
That's incredible.
And it took me a lot of places.
I mean, going from playing the Animals to being truly inspired by Jimi Hendrix isn't a big leap.
There was a wide variety for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was playing even like the bubblegum songs of the 60s, you know.
Yeah.
I was playing Monkeys songs on my guitar and stuff. And people loved it.
That's cool.
I mean, I still do some of that in my act and they like it.
So there's just so much of the stuff
There's
I
a
never
song
know.
called I'm Not Your Stepping Stone.
Mhm.
I'll pull that out a gig. People are nuts to this day. So I travel with the drum machine, so I have something going on behind me.
Yeah, I have the other one. It's down there.
So yeah, so that's good. Like when I
Welcome back, everybody,
Hello,
to
hello.
another reaction video.
That's right.
We figured since we did Slapped Ham last time, we would check out whatever was newest from Nuke.
Nuke's top
Dude,
5, right? Nuke's top,
yeah, next.
yeah,
Nuke's top
5.
We haven't watched Nukes in a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a
For
long. It's
sure.
been a long time. So
We watched a lot of them, and in our last video too, we talked about like Project Dark Knight, and it's
Yeah.
been a while since we've watched any of these.
we'll
so-
do maybe we'll do a Dark Knight next,
Okay.
and then we got to check out that Bizarre Bub guy.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever watched that one. Maybe we have.
Maybe like once or twice, but it's nothing like we used to go to watch.
Vicariously through somebody else, we've definitely watched it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So we figured we'd do Nuke. Let's see what
Let's-
Nuke does these days.
Well, let's do it.
Check it out.
This next Nuke's Top 5 exclusive video was sent in by viewer Michael Youngblood. The video was shot near Winchester, Virginia, a city that was the site of some of the bloodiest battles of the U.S. Civil War. Michael is filming his friend Jake when they capture something that they just did not expect.
Let me get you from the front. Okay. All right, ready?
Mhm.
Yeah. You recording?
Yep.
Oh, now my socks are like wet because of the ground.
You.
Look at that. Yeah.
Did you see it? When looking back at the video, Michael and Jake are shocked to see what looks like a mysterious figure dressed like a Civil War soldier and carrying a long, old-timey musket. The creepy apparition silently walks across the field right behind them. But Michael and Jake say that they didn't see anyone at the time.
This is one I kind of believe.
A lot of these, I feel like most of the time we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But
Battlefields are one, like the Civil War battlefields and stuff like
Mhm.
that, are one of the most common places that people pick up paranormal activity.
yeah,
This, I don't know. There's something really creepy about this one.
I am gonna have to agree with you on that. I feel like, we talk a lot on our podcast about like the energy that things leave behind and stuff like that. And war has got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
one of those things.
Another thing, Nuke sounds different than I remember.
Yeah.
His voice sounds different. Maybe
does.
maybe he's sick.
Or I don't know, maybe like better audio stuff. I don't know. It
I
just
thought he
sounds
sounded
different.
better before.
Really?
Yeah, he always had like a
Oh.
radio voice.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is one that I this one's really creepy to me.
This one I was like, okay.
All right, let's jump. I want to see what they think.
Okay.
Could this be the spirit of a fallen Civil War soldier? Let me know what you think. Shadows of Doubt. It's a normal Friday afternoon in Opelousas, Louisiana, and Dr. stops at a service station to get some gas. Suddenly, he notices something very strange inside a parked and empty school bus across the street.
about to go walk up to the bus. Look at that. Look at the children playing. Look at that.
This is clearly just somebody.
It's either somebody, it could be a flag
Really?
blowing in the
Really?
It's the
like,
middle of the day in a
blowing
busy
in
area.
the breeze, and it's the shadow from it just happens to be across the windows.
It could be a
like
bird. It could be a maintenance person. It could be a flag. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
It could be so many things.
uh-huh.
To be like, this is paranormal, I think is a stretch.
Definitely.
I think this is a stretch.
Definitely.
I don't know about this one. I did like the last one though. The last one was
Last
good.
one was really good.
Last one
Yeah.
was really, really good.
I really like that one.
Let's see what they claim.
Let's go see. Let's go investigate. An empty bus.
But how do they know it's empty?
Right. They were all the way
empty
across the
bus.
street.
Strange, creepy shadows of children can be seen walking through the school bus, even though the vehicle is parked and completely empty. Dante says that he walked over to the bus and even drove his truck around it, but saw no one and nothing to explain the bizarre apparitions. Dante was creeped.
I'm not calling these apparitions.
No, not at all.
If you really like watch it, there's like buildings back there.
yeah.
And depending on which way the light is, what if this is squirrels running on a rooftop,
Yeah.
creating this shadow effect? Why do we just assume
That it's paranormal.
this is just like seeing a little kid run by and be like, "There's a shadow. It's paranormal." No, it's just some
It's a
freak-
ghost
it's just
kid.
kids playing. I don't know. This one for me is a stretch right here.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Freaked out by the entire experience and posted his video to Facebook, where it quickly got over 2 million views. As of today, the mystery of the school bus shadows remains unexplained. The Midnight Whisper. Red Easer Mike is up around midnight after his family have all went to bed. He suddenly smells a strange odor coming from the living room, and he suspects that one of the family pets might have urinated on the floor. But as Mike begins searching for the telltale puddle, something scares the absolute out of him.
If your dog's pee smells that bad,
Oh, I've
need
seen this
some
before.
water. We just saw this.
I see this doing stream.
A small childlike voice seems to whisper, "Mike," from somewhere nearby.
This could be so many things.
So many.
I understand that it says Mike, or it sounds like it, but this is audio pareidolia.
I absolutely.
This could be a toy slipping on the floor, making like a little scrape sound. It could be
You could have hit something and it like scraped the floor.
Yeah.
Because the dogs, animals, and kids
nothing
are
reacts.
very susceptible to paranormal things. We
Nothing
all know
seems
this.
freaked out but him.
And the only way the dog reacts is when he freaks
Yeah.
out and runs up the stairs.
That's what I'm saying. Like he hears the noise, and there's like a split second where he's like, but then he runs, then the dogs get up.
Yeah.
This, I believe, in my opinion, just my opinion,
In our armchair expert opinion.
is audible pareidolia.
Yes.
I would be very surprised if I was wrong about this one.
Agreed. Now, I have had my name whispered in my ear before.
In the middle of the night.
No, actually, I was taking a nap. It was during the day.
Or sleeping. I'm sorry, you were
Yes,
sleeping.
I
But
was
this isn't
sleeping.
like you weren't cleaning up the house
No.
downstairs where it looked like his washroom was.
No.
And you're shuffling stuff around. It's a little different.
It
At least it's a little harder to debunk.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
this to me is very easy to debunk, honestly.
Mhm.
It is creepy, and I'm sure maybe it startled him because like I've had this happen here, even just in this house where I stay up late. You go to bed for work,
Mm-hmm.
and like I've had times where I think I hear something, but it's like the jackets move, or like maybe I walk into them, or it's always something that it's not what it seems like.
Right.
I'm just trying to take the long way around of saying that it's probably not paranormal.
I agree.
Just saying. Sorry, Mike.
Mike just books it up the stairs, leaving his dog and his concerned little kitten in the background to wonder what the hell just happened. Now, Mike says that he lives in an old 1850s house near the coast of Herring Cove, Canada. It has a slight bit of dark history, but he says that he's never experienced anything remotely paranormal before this night.
Aren't Canadians too nice to haunt you?
Mike has never even made a single post about anything supernatural until this strange incident that literally sent him running. The thing in the tunnel. Nuke's Top 5 viewer Sophie reached out to us about a very creepy video that her friend Laura recorded in an abandoned railway tunnel in Hassel, Germany. The tunnel was built in 1890 and it was used extensively by German troops during World War II. So, while on a weekend trip, Laura checks out the historic old abandoned rail tunnel. She's recording with her phone when she captures what is maybe one of the weirdest clips I've ever seen. Check it out.
I didn't say anything.
Something pale and thin can be seen rising up from the...
Okay, that's my bad. I didn't even notice that.
I was looking past that into like the dark.
I don't know if you'll remember
area.
this, but there was a video a long time ago where somebody was, it was like a newer, maybe like a subway system or something, but they were walking, and on one of the little cutouts on the side of the wall, there was like a figure there. And I think this was like a Nuke's Top 5 video way back when.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I thought something was going to be on the wall or something. I was not expecting it to come up from the ground.
No, me either. I was looking like way past that down the tunnel
Man,
in the dark.
That kind of creeped me out. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know if it's paranormal, but it's definitely creepy.
It's weird.
Or on what looks like a thin little arm.
Oh, hell no.
As for Laura, she gets one look at the disturbing thing and just turns and makes a run for it. Now, watching this clip over and over, I honestly have no idea what this is.
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, it looked like crawling out of the ground. Yeah, I see this before, like in a different video. No, actually,
it looks like maybe hairless torso with two skinny arms, getting up in a very unnatural way.
Ugh.
Maybe it's an animal, maybe it's a very weird looking person. I just don't know. So you tell me what you think this is down in the comments.
I didn't like that one.
That very much. I don't know what that was.
But
that
at first I thought like that.
I could see that actually. Now that you say that,
they're skinny and pointy, like tops of their wings, I guess. But there was nothing else there.
That's a good point. What if it's like a sickly bat?
Maybe.
bat
I
is
don't know.
that's
Where's the
big.
rest of its
That was
wing? Like
big.
what? That I don't know. I did not like that.
I'm really trying to compute in my head what else that thing could be.
I did not
Because
like
to
that.
me, it honestly just looks like Night of the Living Dead. It looks like hell is rising up through the railroad tracks.
Yeah, it looks like I don't want to be there.
Looks like
That's
something
what that looks
I
like.
would like for you to run into, just so I could see how scared you would get. It's got to be an animal. It has to be an animal.
What looks like that?
I mean, the arm does look bat-like.
But where's the rest of the bat?
Well, she didn't stay there. She ran.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that one.
I don't know.
I just know I did
trying
not
to
like
rationalize
that.
it because we go to like wooded, sometimes spooky-ish places. I mean,
We do.
where we live is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
If you watched the podcast episodes that we do,
Mhm.
I posted like the view that we have, the mountain.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but some areas do creep me out.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Can get kind of Weird.
I'm from Florida. All right, let's
Evil Alexa. Now, this next video is about the dangers of accidentally scaring yourself. 8-year-old Jackson and 2 of his friends are having a sleepover at his home in Grapevine, Texas. The 3 fearless young boys decide to ask the family's Amazon Alexa to tell them a scary bedtime story. It was then that they realized they had made a huge mistake.
Alexa, tell me a bedtime story. Sorry, I don't know that. Oh, Alexa, tell me a horror story. Did you hear that? I'll turn it off. Alexa, stop. Alexa, turn off. Alexa, is that creepy?
At this point, run up to it and unplug it.
Alexa, play.
we have 2 boys, and honestly, that just creeped me out.
I didn't like that. Ew.
That's why I don't
What?
like.
I don't.
Can Alexa do that?
I mean, she can tell spooky stories.
I mean, yeah, but why would she be all like,
I mean, I've seen videos of people's Alexas freaking out. I don't know if they're real or not, but this isn't like a new concept.
no, but you got to think too, like in the mindset of a kid, they just asked for a
Well,
horror
but
story.
they were hearing something, and
And-
I couldn't hear it in my headset, but they were hearing something.
I,
I'm gonna turn
ugh.
my headphones up.
I don't know. That was weird.
It just made me think of our kids,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and it
And they would probably be
wrecked. Yes.
react in the exact same
Oh,
way.
I was gonna say, yeah, they'd be wrecked. They would. we
That
would
too.
have to take it out of every room of the house.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Oh man.
That's one I didn't. Yeah, I didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
What's your problem? Nothing scary at all. Alexa, stop. Alexa was
As requested, Alexa begins telling a scary story, starting with, "Did you hear that?" Oh. The 8-year-old boy.
So I'm
Oh.
assuming they said, "Tell us a scary story," and instead of it going right into the story, it started playing creepy sounds.
Yeah. And then was like, did you
Dude,
hear
that's awesome. That's not paranormal, but that is awesome. I love that.
That is so funny. And their reaction is so pure and genuine.
Put the fear
I
of
love
God
it.
into them kids. Man, I bet they chilled right out after that.
And then mom came in and she's like, there's nothing scary.
Wait till she watches that.
Oh man.
Oh, good stuff.
That was good.
Boys lose their damn minds and just begin to scream and yell for Alexa to stop. Thankfully, Jackson's mother comes to the rescue, but she seems pretty unimpressed by their reaction.
What's your problem? Nothing scary at all.
I think the lesson here is always be careful about letting your kids watch or listen to scary content.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nuke, yeah.
Enjoy the video is what I was gonna say there. Thank you.
That was awesome. I
On
like
a
that.
holy night, Mariana Ramos says that her father was attending Christmas Mass at his local church when he decided to send her a quick video of the service. When Mariana watches the video, she sees something that gives her the chills. A pale person with no distinct features and deep hollow eyes can be seen amongst the celebrating
Oh.
churchgoers. Mariana asks her father about the mysterious figure, and he too is disturbed and confused because he says he didn't see this person when he recorded the video. He asks other church members, but no one recognizes the odd stranger in the footage. But here's where things get really weird, because Mariana claims that there was one person who did recognize this figure, the church's old priest. The priest said that the person in the video was an old woman who used to work closely with the church, a woman who had died many years earlier. So
It was the ghost of the old lady.
Oh.
I don't think I believe this one.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
It's just it looks like a person in a skin suit.
Yeah.
It's what it
It's
looks
just-
like.
I don't know. Meh.
I want more videos like the last one.
Yeah, please. That was great.
It's hilarious.
this the woman's ghost showing up to church for Christmas Mass? Or is it all just an elaborate hoax?
Yeah, that.
You decide. Window to the other side. TikTok user Alyssa is outside with her 2 children one night when the family spots something strange in the second floor bedroom window.
All right, my daughter's room is up there, and we keep seeing something. All right, put your flashlight up.
What is that?
Okay, wait, we're going to look down for a minute.
All right. I'm going to take us off the screen and let our people watch this because we've seen this clip.
Yeah.
And I want to know what you guys think. And then we'll tell you at the end what we think. Because, yeah, we'll just do that. So
Let's do it.
We'll be right back after we watch this.
Put your flashlight down. Let's see if we can get it to go again. All right, flash it up there. Oh, now it's gone. Put your flashlight down. Flash it again. Put it down. Put your flashlight down. Let's see if it'll do it again. All right, put it up. Hurry. Oh.
Someone or something can be seen peeking through the blinds of Alyssa's daughter's bedroom. But when they shine their flashlight, whatever it is simply disappears out of sight. Creepily enough, no one can be seen standing behind the blinds, and no hand can be seen moving them. Now, Alyssa believes that her house is haunted by a friendly ghost or poltergeist that means her family no harm. So instead of being alarmed, Alyssa and her children just rush right into the house and quickly head up to check out the window.
All right, let's see if it'll do it one more time, baby. Put your flashlight up. All right, it. Let's go inside. Let's go inside. Let's go inside.
Not all spirits all want to
right,
harm you.
here's the upstairs.
It's just like
I just wanna show you guys.
Say like,
No one
"Hi,
behind the door.
Could I be your friend?"
Here's my daughter's room. It's a little messy, I'm sorry, but just to show you, here's the closet. I just want to show you there's nobody behind. Nobody in the closet. Here's the window right over here. Nobody. Not a single person up here.
The family finds nothing and no one there. Now, it is interesting to note that shortly after posting this video to TikTok, Alyssa closed her account and seemed to just kind of disappear from the internet. So that is a bit of a mystery. It kind of makes you wonder if that ghost was friendly after all.
I very much do not believe that.
I don't either.
If you look, like you can see the blinds are closed.
Yes.
I know they may look like they're open to some people, but what that is because they're flashing the flashlight into it and you can kind of see the outlines of things behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's somebody standing off to the side doing that. And then, once they walk into the
But they
house,
run
They have
into
plenty
the
of time
room.
to move.
there is so much time
Yeah.
for them to go anywhere they want. And I like how she's like, nobody's in the closet, but doesn't show you the closet. She's nobody's in the closet.
Yeah. Also, when she first goes up there and like looks at the window, it looks like a blind about where they were shining was kind of broken and moved. So you got to think like
Right
when
from
there's
grandpa up there going,
Oh, jackpot.
yeah, but when there's no light on it, like the light play
Dang it,
on
Steven.
that gap,
Mhm.
and then you shine a light on it. I don't know. I think that would give like a visual weirdness to it too. So
there's so much in that could just be debunked. That
Yeah.
to me, that clip that's nothing.
no,
That's nothing.
it's not.
So that's probably why she disappeared from TikTok.
Yeah.
Because people probably called her out and figured it out pretty quick.
They probably tore her up in the comments.
That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
probably people aren't stupid.
No. And
So-
they're relentless online. So good luck.
Canadian Paranormal Investigation Team Walking Among Us reached out to us about a terrifying experience one of their investigators had at the historic SDG Jail in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. The SDG Jail was built in 1833, and over its 190-year history, many people have lost their life here. Some by hanging, some from illness, and some from horrible violence. Perhaps even more disturbing, many unclaimed bodies were buried right on the property. With a dark history like that, it's no wonder that the SDG Jail is said to be extremely haunted.
I agree,
On an
but
overnight investigation,
most
Walking
American
Among Us
jails
team
are
member
the same.
Krista is all alone in a known paranormal hotspot on the lower levels of the jail. She has a chilling experience that the investigators just can't explain.
My name's Krista. Can you please tell me your name? Is anyone coming around the corner? Yeah. What? Rafe? No, stop. Hello?
That wasn't him?
I don't think they're claiming that it's him.
Come on.
It clearly said get out of here.
Yeah, but that I've heard that was way too, I don't know.
That was crystal clear.
I want
if it was not the gentleman that is with them.
I want that to be real.
Yeah.
Because that's all that would be
That like shuffling sound that
I don't care about that.
no. Like if someone is shackled, imagine how they walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very slidey.
I
'cause
think of
it's
it in
weird,
terms of debunkable things, though, right? And I said this, I think, on the last one that we did,
Mhm.
is the camera never seems to be where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever.
And I don't know why you wouldn't have a camera outside, the cell pointing down a hallway or
Pointing
something.
anywhere else other than where
So,
you're sitting.
To me, the shuffling, very easily debunkable. It could be anything.
Mhm.
We're not in there. We don't know. Could be a draft blowing something. I don't know. The voice, though, if there's nobody else in there and they can prove that, that's intense.
Yeah,
That would be nuts.
that was very clear.
But something tells me that's not the case.
Rafe? That's not funny.
Krista is freaked out when she hears shuffling footsteps in the hallway near her, and then hears a voice that she thinks is fellow investigator Rafe. But there's just one problem. At the time, Rafe is in a completely different part of the building, filming with the other team investigators.
I want to hear his
I'm
voice.
going to do the board. Nothing ever happens to me. I'm fine.
Yeah, but maybe it will.
Okay, fine. I'll sit there.
Sit for like 20 seconds. See
Okay,
if you
fine,
hear
fine.
anything. I'm the same way, so I tend to just be behind the camera.
Which is more fun.
It is.
Krista is all alone while team members Rafe, Kelly, and James are doing a separate investigation in another part of the jail. In fact, when Krista calls out, the other team member's camera captures them in real time running over to check on Krista.
Is anyone coming around the corner? What?
It's not its voice.
It's not.
Rafe? No, stop. Hello.
We're coming.
Rafe? Are you okay? That's not funny.
What happened? No one's there.
That's not his voice.
It's not.
So, was there another male in their group?
I don't think so.
They
I
wrote
think,
off the names. We just weren't paying attention.
yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 females and then him. I don't know.
I'd be checking that building for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was nuts.
Don't play with me right now.
We just ran.
No, we're not upstairs. Yeah, we're going to the fucking. So we were in the room doing the ball thing. He went upstairs.
I
Not here.
went to the kitchen.
He was up.
I heard footsteps.
No. There's not.
And then I was like, hello, is that you? And it sounded like you going, get out of here.
No, that was. He was with us.
Oh, I hope that's on there.
I was with him. Can we take the footage?
And
You swear to God.
I swear to God, this I feel ever done. And okay, well, hold on. It's all on video of us how far it took us.
After rewatching the footage, the investigators believe that a spirit might have mimicked Rafe's voice. You can watch this entire investigation at the SDG jail over on the YouTube channel, Walking Among Us.
I don't think it sounded like him.
I don't think
Who
so either.
waits in the woods? So this
Almost
is Noah.
like
Noah is not a YouTuber. He's not a
template, like a
TikToker.
noob
In
stew
fact,
had
he's
to
not a
mimic someone.
quote influencer of any kind. Noah is just a guy
But
who
can you
posted
pause?
one single video to the
no,
internet about something that happened to him
thing.
that scared the living shit out of him.
Don't pause.
You see, Noah was driving late one night in the deep, isolated
But,
woods of Sun River, Oregon.
a lot of spirits
He
on
was
you.
getting a bit
If it's
sleepy,
solid-
so he
Beautiful.
decided to pull off onto a desolate country
It's
road
not
in the
the first
woods
time around.
to take a nap in the back of his
There's just
truck.
tons of
As you
practice
can
mimic
probably
someone
guess,
perfectly.
it did not go well.
So,
If
Like
this
a
isn't
demon have
Bigfoot, I'm going to be
a
upset.
thousand of these to
If
practice.
this is not Bigfoot, I'm going to be upset.
It's funny. Let us know down in the comments if you believe in Bigfoot.
He's real. Let us know why he's real.
I was originally not gonna make this video, but a few days ago I was camping in Sun River, and what I thought would be a good location to pull over to the side of the road in like this forest area and sleep, which I thought no one was really around.
I'm currently sleeping in the back of my truck right now. I don't even know what time it is. And there's someone walking around my truck right now. If you can hear that, it's pretty loud.
We can't hear shit.
He's been walking around for like minutes already. My in my cab though. I don't really know what to do. I'm a little freaked out right now, and it's like pitch black outside, probably like 2 in the morning, and he just keeps walking around, and he's like really close to my truck. I've never been this scared, and like this doesn't make any sense because I parked somewhere where you can see no one was on that road. He's literally walking. He's literally walking on my truck. The canopy, the back door's locked. I've never been scared before ever. I don't think he knows that.
If that's Bigfoot, that's the most polite Bigfoot I've ever
Hello?
heard.
I don't know about paranormal or whatever,
It
but
sounds like somebody's just
that would be so scary.
yeah.
Like just in real life.
Sounds like he's
so scary.
Sounds like he's about to get robbed, or
Yeah.
or maybe somebody's just checking to see if he's okay.
I don't know.
Out in the middle
Black
of
Bravo,
nowhere.
like, hello.
In the
how you
pitch
doing?
black, in
the
the middle of the woods.
Oh, it sounds like snow too.
Oh man. Mm-mm.
I wanted it to be Bigfoot.
I'm so scared right now. He's literally peeking through the door right now.
Nope.
I've never been this scared ever. So the current time is 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, there's so much more dark to go.
I'm still walking around my truck. I'm gonna try to see if I can flash my light to get him scared. So he runs away. There he is. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Eventually, whoever this person was wandered off and left Noah in peace. But the next morning, when Noah cautiously gets out of his truck, there's some creepy evidence left behind.
So I'm back home. This is the day after. He was trying to peek in my truck quite a bit with all these marks. I didn't even notice until I got home. Handprints there, a lot of scratches, stuff like that. Dragging his finger on my side of my truck. Looks like to be trying to get inside my truck. That's really all I could tell from when he was walking around. That's new. Don't know how that got there. More handprints trying to get in my truck. At least the back canopy was locked, but yeah, that was the result. So that was probably the scariest camping experience I've probably ever had in my entire life.
So Again, not really paranormal,
Right.
but definitely scary.
So scary. Are you kidding? And he even said he left his protection, if you will, in the cab, and
That's
he
why you
was
don't leave it.
sleeping in the back seat.
Not a chance.
So it wasn't anywhere near him. And oh my God, just
No,
terrifying.
I would have it with me.
Absolutely not. Nope. Nope.
This could have been a much different video. This could have been a news clip.
Oh, I don't like it. Ugh.
Insane.
Now, the strangest thing about this entire incident is that Noah was parked off the road, in the woods, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night. And whoever this person was outside had no flashlight and never spoke a single word while skulking around Noah's truck all night long.
Bigfoot.
So, just who was this? And what did he want?
I don't want to know who it
Maybe
was.
Noah is lucky that he never found out.
You know,
Hider
I
in the
wish
house.
you have a camera outside of your door, your car, so you can see shit around you instead of like, what's that?
Emma and Patty, a couple who explore haunted places in Mexico, are worried that a vengeful female spirit followed them home from one of their investigations. The couple says that they now experience frequent paranormal activity in their home that terrifies both them and their children. A few months ago, we featured
No
Memo and
offense,
Patty's
if
story as
I
they
ever
begin
moved to Japan. I'm sorry, Silver. I apologize. I know you don't believe
Casting
my
their-
apologize, but I apologize. If we ever move to Japan, and I just stroll around, I feel like a spirit will like look at me and try to do some spooky shit up, hey, get shoot. I'm in a peaceful walk. Don't interrupt my peaceful walk. Go shoot. And just like walk away. And this spirit like, they're like, ooh. And I like you. You know what you're doing. Like, just follow me and you come look like dragon. And like, what the hell do you do? Like, what? I don't see shit. I cannot see shit. You can see them. Like, you can like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God, you have tons of entities here. What do you do? Like, is that also a tiki, the woman who can kill you cut in half? Like, I wondered why I hear some ticking noise behind me. But I thought none of it. Like, how the hell are you alive? You're supposed to be dead. And like, I don't know. Like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna go get a soda. You want some? And like, huh? Like, I don't know how you're alive. You're supposed to be dead, man. Like, yeah, it's fine. Like, anyway, I'm gonna get a drink. Like, walk. Like, you see, like, one of them just falling down, trying to be spooky. Like, oh, damn. Like, I don't have enough quarters. Like, oh, like, like, young yen or Japan money. God damn it. Like, I wish I have more. Like, out of nowhere, like a handful of money appeared out in my hand. And like, huh? Like, thank you. Hey, thank you very much. Hey, thank you. And I just say thanks in the faint air. And then like 1, 2, 3. I had 3 bottles. Yay! Just walk back in the room. Like, and you give me a look. Like, bastard. Like, you asshole, how you alive? Like, this time the spirits here want to kill you. Like, what do you do? Like, I just say, like, be quiet. I'm just enjoying my walk. Why? And like, spirits will kill you. How the hell you have ability to tell them be quiet? Like, doesn't make no sense. Human language doesn't. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, you just go to sleep. Like, I don't care. Like, laying down. Like, I feel someone sleeping on top of me. Like, you look over. Like, nope. I see a dog entity on top of you. Is sleeping next to you. Hell, this bullshit. You can't. God damn it! I cannot step imagine that. That would be horrifying and funny at the same time. Okay, now you can play.
Their experiences live on YouTube. in an attempt to prove that their paranormal encounters are real.
Te ordeno que te largues de nuestra casa.
Crying.
Hola, madre.
One night, they were woken up by weird sounds coming from outside their bedroom door. When this happened.
Te despojo.
Ooh, creepy woman.
Lárgate.
La ventana. ¿En esa? Sí, no puede, es imposible que haya alguien ahí parado y les voy a demostrar por qué.
My guess, second floor.
Yeah.
You know, young men always want girls to follow them home. I just don't think it's like this.
Definitely not.
But this is another one
But I
of those.
also, yeah, I know where you're going.
It's
Go
just
ahead.
easily faked.
Yeah.
These kinds of videos are the ones that we normally just brush off
Mm-hmm.
because it's usually somebody, standing or I don't
editing.
I was gonna
or
say editing.
Pareidolia. If it is a window like to the outside and it's a tree, like you can make faces out of anything.
This is why, like, if you're going to investigate or you're having stuff, like, you need to set up the angles.
Yes.
Or, just more cameras. I get that that's
Difficult.
it is difficult, but
If you're trying to prove something,
you need it
you need it.
because it's too
Absolutely.
easy for people like us to come along and be like, I mean, there's probably somebody else there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
No, miren, ahí está la ventana, ¿sale? Jálale aquí, hija. Ay. Chéquense. ¿A dónde está la ventana?
Since that night, the terrifying activity inside Memo and Patty's home has only intensified, and the couple continues to live stream their experiences right on YouTube. Another night, and the family is already live streaming as they arrive home. They are answering some questions from their curious live viewers when something happens that is truly bizarre.
Por ahí las llaves se quedaron pegadas. Por ahí se quedaron pegadas. Saludos, Kine TikToks. Vamos a darle con Tokio.
I saw it.
Vamos a darle muy bien.
So that other house wasn't even their house. That was a house they were investigating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Wait,
think
what?
that's what they were saying. Were they?
I don't think so because they said that from their
Or maybe I'm wrong.
from their investigation, something has followed them home.
Did you see that though?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you'll see it.
Okay.
Esta noche a la platicada.
Did you see it? As the family is getting out of the car, Memo randomly pans his phone's camera past the house's window for just a second. But in that brief moment, a bizarre dark silhouette can be seen standing in their living room, even though the house should be completely empty. Memo and his family have no idea what they just caught on camera until viewers watching their live stream start to alert them. Now, Memo tries to debunk the strange apparition, hoping that it was nothing more than a reflection. But he can find no explanation for who or what this could be. And things only get worse from here.
No! God, please, no!
Another night, and Memo starts to broadcast a live stream to YouTube to show the weird prints that he found on his car that was parked in their garage.
It's the same
all
one from
day.
the other video.
Suddenly, he hears loud banging coming from a storage room inside the house. He hurries inside, and what happens next is truly disturbing.
¿Quién está ahí? Hola. ¿Quién está ahí?
All of a sudden, the head pops out and says, "Do you have a moment to speak about our Lord and Savior?" See, we're just supposed to believe people when they say there's nobody else in the house.
Yeah.
How do we know?
We don't.
And honestly, it didn't look like a person shadow. It looked like a cutout, like a life-size cutout.
It did. Like just all black and propped up. Yeah. I know.
People do this stuff for views.
Yeah. Of
Views
course.
equal money.
Yep.
You know, like, what do you want me to lie and say we're just doing this because it's purely for enjoyment? I mean, we do enjoy it, but we would like,
This is what we do on a normal basis anyway.
yeah, but I mean, you know, we would like to make money off it one day.
Yeah,
So people do this for money. I just refuse to do that.
absolutely
I
not.
will
We are
not.
never, ever, ever, ever.
Never.
Now, would we like to go investigating?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere and everywhere we could ever go.
I wish we were making videos back when we visited the lighthouse.
Oh, that was so good.
St. Augustine Lighthouse. Definitely something happening there.
Yep.
Hola. Uy, creo que se metió. ¡Ey, ey, ey, ey! Creo que se metió un animal. Hola. No mames. No mames.
The children's playhouse suddenly moves by itself and just slides right across the floor. Memo fears that an animal has gotten into the playhouse. He frantically checks inside and out. There's nothing there. But, again, did you see it? Something that looks like a very tall figure with a shadowy face can be seen peeking out at Memo from behind a shelf. Again, Memo doesn't see it and is completely unaware of what just happened until his live stream audience points it out, telling him to go look behind that shelf.
¿Aquí? ¿Cómo creen? Si aquí no hay nada. Está hasta la caja. Vean, es ropa vacía.
So just who or what is this? Could it be the spirit that Memo and Patty claim haunt their home? Or is this something entirely different? It's up to you. You decide.
I decided.
Could it be his wife or daughter who have the
Yeah.
same long black hair?
Maybe.
I think I just solved the mystery.
Good job.
I hope this is the last one. I'm kind of fried. I'm like ready to be done.
Thanks so much for watching.
it
If you
is.
like
You're
the video,
welcome.
please
So we do encourage you. Go follow Nuke. He does have good videos.
He does have good videos, and he has a great sense of humor while he does them
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So we
He's
appreciate
kind
that.
of like Slapped Ham. He's a likable guy.
He is.
He's not as much of a goofball as Slapped Ham, but he has actually gotten funnier.
Yeah. We've always enjoyed his videos, whether we think they're real or not. They're great, and he does a lot of research, and people
Ish.
send him things, and he just compiles them for us to watch.
He does. No, he does a good job with
He
his
does.
videos, and it reflects millions and millions of views. But
Yes.
Yeah, that was not fun. I could have been taking
There's a
it.
couple good ones.
I could have been eating or something.
Yeah, I know. I'm hungry.
So hungry. Let's go get some food.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to For the Booze.
For the Booze.
That's
we
right.
are back.
We are.
Another week. I was going to wear my Gators hoodie today because of the topic of discussion,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
It's kind of a rival place we'll be visiting today for us Floridians.
For football, yes.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of came. I do know what this is. I'd never really considered doing an episode on it, and I kind of came across it by chance.
Okay.
I saw it in another video, not a reactionary video, with something else. But we're going to travel to a town I'm sure you've never heard of because I didn't really never heard of it. And it's called Northport, Alabama.
Northport? It sounds like it should be in the Northeast,
It's not.
like
It's in
like
Alabama.
New England area.
It's in Alabama. However, looking up the information about this location was honestly kind of hard because it has its own name, but it's referred to as another name that is also connected to another hospital.
That's a lot.
So today we're going to be talking about a place called the Jemison Center. It's also known as Old Bryce Hospital. And now there is a Bryce Hospital over in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
But this one has been forgotten and for a good reason.
That's very interesting.
We're going to find out why it's been forgotten. This topic it's insane because we've covered stuff like this before.
Yeah.
But this is different. It's in the South. Let's just remember that, and let's all remember in our hearts that Alabama's different now.
And Alabama.
It's different now.
It is. But I also wanted to say something before we get into the story.
Then say it.
For those listening on podcast, if you have ever wondered what these places that we talk about look like, what the people that we talk about look like, especially like pictures from the 1800s or the 1900s and things like that. Now we do our podcast on YouTube form. So you can always go and watch the video form, and we include pictures of everything that we're talking about.
Well, that I'm
Not
able to find. That I'm
everything.
able to
Right.
find.
But
Some things
anything
are
that we
harder than
can
others.
find that is related to what we're talking about, pictures of people, places, like all that. Go over to YouTube, check out our videos,
Yeah.
and we put it all in there for you.
Yeah,
It's all in one.
The last one we did on Vulture City, Ghost Town, and Goldmine. I found a lot of stuff.
Oh man, those pictures were so cool.
Yeah, they're neat because it gives you a glimpse into the topic, right? It's just another medium. So if you can come check us out on YouTube, we are there now.
We are.
So much editing. So much editing.
Double and triple the editing.
We're working on video quality too.
Yes.
Currently at the moment, actually. You have to let us know if this looks any better.
Go back. Nothing at all. Keep going. Why? Yes, like that. Good girl. I'm looking. I hate you so. Oh wait, I see this part. You could skip. Jingle bell, jingle.
So
Yes,
I
yes, how is
actually
he taught?
kind of came. I do know what this is. I'd never really considered doing an episode on it, and I kind of came across it by chance.
Okay.
I saw it in another video, not a reactionary video. It was something else. But we're gonna travel to a town I'm sure you've never heard of because I didn't really never heard of it, and it's called Northport, Alabama.
Northport? It sounds like it should be in the Northeast,
It's not.
like
It's in
like
Alabama.
New England area.
It's in Alabama. However, looking up the information about this location was honestly kind of hard because it has its own name, but it's referred to as another name that is also connected to another hospital.
That's a lot.
So today we're going to be talking about a place called the Jemison Center. It's also known as Old Bryce Hospital. And now there is a Bryce Hospital over in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
But this one has been forgotten and for a good reason.
That's very interesting.
We're going to find out why it's been forgotten. This topic it's insane because we've covered stuff like this before.
Yeah.
But this is different. It's in the South. Let's just remember that, and let's all remember in our hearts that Alabama's different now.
And Alabama.
It's different now.
It is. But I also wanted to say something before we get into the story.
Then say it.
For those listening on podcast, if you have ever wondered what these places that we talk about look like, what the people that we talk about look like, especially like pictures from the 1800s or the 1900s and things like that. Now we do our podcast on YouTube form. So you can always go and watch the video form, and we include pictures of everything that we're talking about.
Well, that I'm
Not
able to find. That I'm
everything.
able to
Right.
find.
But
Some things
anything
are
that we
harder than
can
others.
find that is related to what we're talking about, pictures of people, places, like all that, go over to YouTube, check out our videos,
Yeah.
and we put it all in there for you.
Yeah,
It's all in one.
The last one we did on Vulture City, Ghost Town, and Goldmine,
Yeah.
I found a lot of stuff. For
Oh
that one.
man, those pictures were so cool.
Yeah, they're neat because it gives you a glimpse into the topic, right? It's just another medium. So if you can come
Yeah.
check us out on YouTube, we are there now.
We are.
So much editing.
You know, now I
So
see
much
him,
editing.
Double and
never
triple
forget
the
about
editing.
We're working on video quality.
It's
too.
like
Yes.
burning into my
Currently at the
brain.
moment, actually, you have to let us know
Anytime
if this
I
looks
blink,
any better
Yeah,
because
we
we're
keep
trying something different.
keep running little tests to see,
You're
what works
traumatized
best
me,
because
Miss
we're new
Ever.
to this. So,
Well, what do you say we get into this one?
I am ready.
All right, this one's gonna probably infuriate you a little bit on the way.
Okay.
This is the Jemison Center. And the old Jemison Center, also known as Old Bryce Hospital in Northport, Alabama, was named in honor of Robert Jemison Jr., a prominent Alabama business magnate, politician, and staunch advocate for mental health. Sort of. He was educated at Mount Zion Academy, where he was a classmate of future Senator Dixon Hall Lewis. He attended the University of Georgia. His father was a slaveholder and landowner of at least 4 large-scale properties. To differentiate himself from his grandfather, who was also named Robert Jemison Jr. adopted the suffix Jr. We have that in common.
Yes, you do.
In 1826, he relocated with his father's family to Pickens County, Alabama, where he became a planter until 1836 and moved to Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I was right.
Now, Jemison served in the Alabama State Legislative between 1840 and 1851, initially in the Senate and then the House. He returned to the Senate from 1851 to 1863. In 1861, he opposed secession as a convention delegate. Now, he was unanimously elected president of Alabama Senate in 1863. Soon after, Jemison joined the Confederate States Senate, succeeding William Lowndes Yancey, who had died of kidney disease. What a miserable death.
Oh man.
That sounds
Could you
awful.
imagine
No.
that? And especially like
Back then.
before medical care
Oh,
that we
man.
have now. That would be awful.
Terrible. How do you fix that back then? Actually, now that I think about it.
You don't. They're just like, here's something that might help your pain. Good luck.
I don't even know what to say about that, honestly.
Ugh.
Thinking about that's like sending a chill up my spine.
Mm-mm.
Now, Jemison would go on to own multiple businesses, including a stagecoach line, toll roads, toll bridges, grist mills, sawmills, turnpikes, stables, a hotel, and plank roads. I have no idea what a plank road is. It'll probably be in the video.
Wow. So he owned half of everything.
He
That's
was
a lot.
a true business magnate.
Yeah.
Now, his primary source of capital, though, was 6 plantations he owned in western Alabama, totaling 10,000 acres, the largest of which was the 4,000-acre Cherokee Place plantation in what is now Northport, Alabama.
I'll just take one of those. Just one,
I
please.
don't want plantations
Why?
because of the stuff that happens on plantations.
Well, I know that like then, but like now,
I would
love a 4,000 acre place. That would be fantastic. Are you kidding me?
The history there, though, is
Yeah, I know.
they're not very good. And it's
Not
not
at all.
Alabama. We're in the deep South.
Yeah.
Alabama, 1860s.
Deep South.
Now, he had inherited the plantation from his father, which was then known as Crabapple. Before building the Jemison Van de Graaf mansion in Tuscaloosa, he lived at Cherokee Place. Now, this mansion could be a whole nother episode.
Oh.
So come back next week for part 2.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, the name Cherokee came from a family tradition of Jemison's wife, Priscilla Cherokee Taylor. Her family's history shows that her parents befriended the local Cherokee when Priscilla's mother nursed the chief's daughter back to health after tribal medicine failed. Now, the chief returned the favor by taking the Taylors into his village when the Choctaws went on a rampage. The grateful Taylor family asked the chief how they could thank him for saving their lives, and he replied by naming their first daughter Cherokee. Now, their daughter was already baptized as Elizabeth, so they named her Priscilla Cherokee when their second daughter was born in 1812. Robert and Priscilla had one daughter together, Cherokee Mims. Jemison also renamed the Crabapple Plantation to Cherokee Place. And after her father's death, Cherokee Mims inherited the large plantation and, in turn, donated the land to Bryce Hospital around the turn of the century.
Wow.
So Elizabeth's parents weren't able to already name the named child that. So the daughter, I guess, in respects, she paid the respects to the Cherokee tribe and named her daughter
Right.
Cherokee.
That's
And then
actually pretty cool.
And then named the whole area. They named the whole area Cherokee Place.
That's super neat. I like that.
Now, the Jemison Center, named after Robert Jemison Jr., is located on what was originally Cherokee Plantation. It's often wrongly referred to as Old Bryce. In 1900, the Alabama legislature established a mental health facility in Mount Vernon, Alabama, to relieve overcrowding at Bryce Hospital. For some reason, over the years, people associated this hospital with Bryce Hospital and started referring to it as Old Bryce Hospital, but it's not.
So they're two totally separate
They
places.
are two totally, but they
right?
are connected.
What?
They are connected.
It's so confusing.
It is very confusing. Try researching.
Right.
This. They are connected in a kind of a dark way.
Oh.
Speak English, Stevie.
You'll see. It's not good.
I don't know if I want to now.
It's not good. Now, this hospital became known as the Mount Vernon Hospital for the Colored Insane, since it served African Americans exclusively until 1969, when it was desegregated following the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So we are talking about a all-black hospital during segregation. It's bad. I don't know why I always find these bad stories.
Because it's the kind of stuff we talk about.
And
it always goes back to when
look,
those things happen.
As proud as I am to be an American, American history
is awful.
We have a period of American history that just sucks.
It's so terrible.
It is so bad. Now, by the 1920s, Bryce Hospital was severely overcrowded again. Now, to further help relieve overcrowding at Bryce, the former plantation house at Cherokee Place was demolished, and in its place, a 3-story neoclassical brick institution was constructed. Now, before the Jemison Center was built, African-American patients were sent 100 miles away to Searcy Hospital, which from 1902 until 1939 was the only state facility serving African-American patients, which is so infuriating because why can't they I understand. I know how history works. I get what happened, but why can't we just help people
as people, no matter what?
It's so frustrating.
I get it.
People back then, but people back then were stupid.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Peter Bryce, superintendent of Bryce Hospital, believed that idle hands allowed mental patients too much time to focus on their condition. He pragmatically recognized patient labor as essential to the hospital's economic survival in the face of diminishing state funds. So put them to work.
Yeah. I mean,
not a good idea.
I mean, I can
Trust
kind of
me,
see it. Like
you're going to eat those words.
I get it.
You're going to eat
I'm
those words.
sure I will. However, like if you're treating someone, and you just stick them in a room and have them do absolutely nothing.
By that
that's
standard,
my point.
And to be fair, at the time, Dr. Bryce is not referencing the African American patients.
Okay.
Because
But that's what I'm saying. Like get them out, get them moving, instead of like just shoving them in a room.
he is talking about the patients in general, all of them.
Okay.
Now, he also demanded that patients be treated with courtesy, kindness, and respect at all times. Work programs and other activities, including farming, sewing, maintenance, and crafts, were encouraged. Now, patients housed at the Jemison Center would also adopt this philosophy and tend to the fields around the property. Now, this was a part of the self-sustainability of Bryce, as well as a way to feed a large number of patients with limited state funding. State funding was almost non-existent, and this was kind of how they kept everybody fed. But if there's one thing troubling to me about this story, and it's that you're in Alabama, back in the turn of the century, at an all-black hospital, and you're sticking them in the fields all day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
How do you think they were treated?
Pretty terribly. And
not good. They were not treated good. And the story, honestly, it just gets worse. I mean, we're not going to get, look, this is safe for
Steve,
YouTube.
stop
We
talking
try,
and read.
we do talk about dark stuff on the show, but I will not
We're
go
not
into
here to
detail
watch you.
about certain things. And this is
We're
one
not
of
here
those
to
things. And there are
talk
words
enough
and phrases
information.
and names
Read
that I
it.
left out because I don't even feel comfortable saying them, even in a educational
You're
way.
gonna
It's
find this
not right.
video and you're
Now,
gonna
Dr. William D.
I'm gonna
Partlow was
tell
a physician at
Silver.
Bryce Hospital,
Like,
and he was
take me how to
appointed
talk
assistant
good. I want
superintendent
to
of the
murder
facility. He held this position until his election in 1919 as the successor to Dr. James T. Searcy. Now, Partlow, this guy's an interesting character, was a strong believer in Dr. Bryce's teachings, writing such papers as Value of Employment and its relation to nervous and mental diseases, and Medicine and Sociology, their relation in the past and present. Now, he transferred this belief system to the Jameson Center, operating the asylum as a state work farm, where able-bodied African-American patients would work in the fields to produce food for the hospital, as well as perform all kinds of other labor, such as weaving, mending, etc. Slave work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Partlow was also a eugenicist, and he had the power to sterilize any patients without consent. In 1934, he proposed a bill that would allow for sterilizations of every patient upon release, something he was already doing, as well as forming boards of doctors that would design groups to be sterilized.
Oh my God.
So
before he was even proposed a bill to do
yeah, he was
so,
he was already doing it.
like
This
well
was-
on his way
This was his thing.
through a bunch of people.
This was his thing.
Oh my God.
Now, the bill passed both houses of the Alabama state legislature, but was vetoed by Governor Bibb Graves. Good for you, Bibb.
Good job.
Partlow continued sterilizing patients until around 1945, when the tide was turning against eugenics due to the association with Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
This isn't the only thing he was into, by the way. I don't believe I just kind of locked it up
we
here for you
love
guys,
you.
but he was
We
also
love your
very much
wife.
into lobotomies and stuff like that.
But
I mean, I feel like when sorry, that threw me way
But
off.
also just-
it's bad. It
It's
is
so
bad. It's really bad.
But we cover a lot of hospitals and things like that. And I feel like the lobotomies just kind of go along with the times at almost every hospital.
Lobotomies were considered like
A medical treatment.
go-to method
Right.
at one point in time.
And they were like, they were a medical treatment.
They were a medical treatment, yeah.
Make the
But
children
people alive today.
sterilization.
There are people alive today who had lobotomies.
Right. And it's unfortunate and cruel, but it was the times.
Yeah.
Now, sterilization, absolutely not.
I
Absolutely
mean, by
not.
your own logic, though, it was a treatment.
Oh, God. Mm.
In all, 224 people were sterilized in Alabama, and it can be assumed that patients at the Jameson Center were also subjected to sterilization. That's just what they think. There could have been hundreds more. However, by the 1960s, the concept of patients remaining in the hospital for long periods of time, while at the same time working productively, became a subject of public concern. Many citizens felt that the hospital retained patients as a source of free labor. Now, Alabama at the time ranked last among U.S. states in funding for mental health. Bryce Hospital at the time had 5,200 patients living in conditions that Montgomery Advisor reporter Hal Martin likened the conditions at the asylum to Nazi concentration camps, mentioning his experiences covering war crime trials after World War II.
So he knows. He
Well, yeah, he
knows
knows.
what this stuff looks like.
And he says it's as bad as a concentration camp.
Oh, my God.
We're going to find out how bad it was.
I think I heard
In 1970, the
I heard a
Jamison
wheeze
Center
thing.
made
Dying
headlines
of
after a
laughter.
journalist from the Tuscaloosa News visited the facility and reported on the abhorrent conditions. Quote, human feces were caked on the toilets and walls. Urine-soaked aging floors. Many beds lacked linens. Patients were sleeping on the floor. Archaic shower stalls had cracked and spewing shower heads. One tiny shower served 131 male patients. The 75 female patients only had one shower also. Most of the patients at Jemison were highly tranquilized and appeared to have not bathed in days. All appeared to lack any semblance of treatment, and the stench was almost unbearable. End quote. And that was life at the Jemison Center.
That is disgusting.
And then they just shoved him off in the fields all day long. 100 Bryce employees, including 20 professional staff, were laid off. University of Alabama's Department of Psychology members sought to file a suit on behalf of the laid-off workers. Nevertheless, federal judge Frank M. Johnson determined that the courts lacked the authority to intervene for terminated staff. However, he did acknowledge the potential for a lawsuit advocating for patients whose quality of care had been impacted. In October 1970, Ricky Wyatt, a 15-year-old who had always been labeled a, quote, juvenile delinquent and housed at Bryce despite not being diagnosed with a mental illness, became the named plaintiff in a class action lawsuit. One of the employees laid off was his aunt, Mildred Hunter Rawlings, and together they testified about intolerable conditions and treatments designed only to make the patients more manageable. The plaintiff class was expanded in 1971 to include patients at other asylums, including Searcy Hospital, Partlow State School, and of course, the Jemison Center.
Well, good. At least they started getting it out there and making.
In 1970, well, here's the next line. After 33 years, the case was finally dismissed on December 5th, 2003, with the findings by Judge Myron H. Thompson that Alabama complied with the agreement. The standards elaborate in that agreement had served as a model nationwide, known as the Wyatt Standards. Now, they are founded on 4 criteria for evaluation of care: human, psychological, and physical environment, qualified and sufficient staff for the administration of treatment, individualized treatment plans, and minimum restrictions of patients' freedoms. Now, this became the longest mental health case in national history. The state of Alabama estimates its litigation expenses at over $15 million.
Oh my God.
33 years.
That's a lot.
Now, since its closure in 1977, the decaying building, once known as the Jemison Center, has inspired hundreds of ghost stories and legends throughout the years. Although people have ventured out there for decades, police and local neighborhood watch patrol the area, looking for any trespassers.
So people do try to go here to.
People do go here.
Okay.
There are videos online of people in the building.
Wow.
You're not going to be able to see them now, obviously, but watching on YouTube, I'm going to post pictures of what this building looks like, and it is a very old neoclassical hospital design. It's kind of framed by trees. It is out in it's just in the woods, and it is just crumbling. It looks like, I don't know, Roman ruins being engulfed by nature.
Wow.
It is one of the creepiest looking buildings that we've talked about.
I bet that is very ominous looking.
And apparently, from one of the stories we're going to hear later, like you have to like park, like I think at a church, and then you have to walk down these dark trails to get to it, and then it opens up into a big field, and then you see the hospital face, and it's like lined with trees and all overgrown.
Wow. Do you remember that thing that came out? It was like a Life After People or something like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Where like it was like auto-generated, like
It's very cool. I
of
loved
nature
it.
taking over buildings. That's what I fully envision when you say that.
I
And I
mean-
think honestly it looks really cool, but if you're going there to ghost hunt, I think it makes it a lot creepier.
It's really cool looking. It's super cool looking.
Yeah.
But I would automatically assume it's haunted. Automatically.
Just by looking at it.
Just by looking at it. Now,
Yeah.
another thing I want to bring up about this story, and I read this in multiple different articles and stuff. I'm not the only one. Alabama has kind of swept this story under the rug. It is incredibly hard to find information about this place.
Why?
Because it's tied to segregation
Well,
and how long it took for them to get away from that.
Okay, but I mean it's history.
But do you want to be known for one of the worst things, and lasting the longest?
No, and I get that, but maybe you should have thought about that.
And there wasn't a lot of good record keeping at the time, because at the time
Yeah.
these patients were considered less than. And I didn't go into great detail about specific stories, but they were slaves. They were treated like slaves. They were mistreated and beat and over medicated, and they were worked like to damn near death. Like this was they basically, because they became mentally ill and they were black people, they were sold into slavery.
It's so bad. So bad.
And
I
the
can't.
state
I
of
can't.
Alabama doesn't want to be tied to that.
Yeah, I bet. But
You
did it.
Look, Alabama's different now. Clearly, it's
Well,
2024. So we're not throwing any salt on Alabama. Like each state has their own special kind of dark history.
And
Don't
I
get me
feel
wrong.
like not just Alabama, but the South in general at that time.
Yeah, the South is
They hung on to that for a little too long. Like a lot too long, but you know what I mean.
the South is
Like,
a special place.
Ding, ding,
Well,
ding,
and we're
ding,
talking about
ding.
we're talking about the deep South.
No, I know.
This isn't like Virginia,
Ugh,
which arguably I would argue isn't the South. But
I would agree. Virginia is not the South.
it's just, I'm sorry.
It's not.
But we're talking about places like Alabama, and they did hold on to this. They fought
Yeah.
for it, and it's awful. And the history is awful. I do wish there was more about this topic, but if you go out there and you find the articles that I got all this from, you will find that nobody can find information.
I mean,
to this.
what you gave, that was enough. That was enough.
There-
I don't know if I want to know more.
There's longer like stories for individuals like Dr. Cersei and like all those guys.
Right.
They are the horrific doctors of those times that you think they are.
Yeah.
They
And-
did terrible things.
And I know you went in and you took out quite a bit. I know you were saying when you were doing the research.
There was
like-
stuff I wasn't comfortable saying.
and totally fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair. So if anybody has any interest in further reading into it,
Yeah. Yeah.
help,
I mean,
help yourself.
if you go down into the what do you call that?
description.
Yeah, that thing.
What?
I always
I thought
post
I'd take
where my
drugs.
sources come from, so you
Mhm.
can
What
go look
happened?
this stuff up on your own if you want.
Yeah.
Same for podcast listeners, video, it doesn't matter. But as fun as this is, I think we're gonna go ahead and we'll get into some spooky stuff. Arguably I think it's the more fun part.
Well, it's got to be more fun than what we just had.
Because of the lack of information, though, I do need to make a caveat here. This is the first time on this podcast where the real world accounts are going to fill the majority of this. I stopped.
Wow.
I could have wrote 50 pages of people visiting and
Wow.
having stories of
That's
this place.
so cool because sometimes it's hard.
Sometimes
to find a
sometimes I can't find any.
bare minimum of stuff.
This
you know?
place has a ton.
Wow.
A ton. I mean, on one website alone, which is the majority of them come from, there was so many more.
That's crazy.
They just go on and on.
All right, I'm ready.
Now,
Let's do it.
For many, abandoned asylums and forgotten hospitals are some of the spookiest destinations imaginable. Empty hospitals are eerie on their own, but even more so when you consider that spirits of the departed could be lurking around any corner and haunting the hallway of the hospital they once called home. Hospitals and asylums are often considered hotspots for paranormal activity, since countless people pass in those facilities, oftentimes unexpectedly, which is one explanation for why many spirits still linger there rather than crossing over. There's no denying that the Jemison Center was once a beautiful building. However, now that it's been abandoned for nearly 50 years, it's unrecognizable because it's covered in lots of plant growth and graffiti. It's also surrounded by lots of overgrown trees. Visitors say they have heard disembodied voices, footsteps, and slamming doors. Others claim to have had more violent experiences in which their hair was pulled or they felt as though they were being kicked.
Mm.
In an article on AL.com, I'm assuming Alabama.com, but it's just AL.com, April Moody is one of the brave few to venture inside the Jemison Center. Now, Moody has made the trip to the Jemison Center or Old Bryce Hospital 3 times and says she gets more courageous each time she goes. Quote, "It is by far the creepiest place I have ever been. And I've been to many scary places. I think it's the setting that really plays with your mind. It's so run down and old, plus the fact that it was a mental institution really brings a darkness and a sadness to the place. Although she's been there 3 times so far, Moody has only had one trip that made her believe that Old Bryce could actually be haunted. It was a trip she made with 3 other people after it had rained and added to the creepiness. Quote, "We turned off the lights from time to time to see if anything would happen. One time we did this, and my friend heard a noise. At the same time, I saw a movement in the lighting. Now we walked towards where I saw the movement, and we heard the sound. For some reason, the dirty floor was nice and cleaned off in that area. We saw a fresh footprint on the floor. We turned off the light again, and we both thought we heard a small child running towards us. We turned on the light and didn't see anything. I'm not really sure if any of the things were really paranormal activity, but the setting can really play with your mind. It's a lot of fun, unquote. Now, Josh Price has also visited Bryce and said, quote, "It would be creepier if not for all the graffiti and vandalism. The bats were pretty spooky, though," unquote. S.D. Allen Nursing Home is connected to Old Bryce, and some people also believe it has its own paranormal activity. That's another place we could probably do an episode on.
Okay. Well, and we've done a place that had a nursing home as well, and
Asylum 40 something,
Asylum 41,
something like that.
I think.
I'd have to go back and look.
And that brings its own kind of quests for paranormal activity. You
Because
know what I
people do
mean?
die there all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
You
All
know,
the time.
old
And
age.
you hear like a lot of nursing homes or places that have elderly people and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of death.
Yeah.
So, I mean, connecting them with a mental asylum.
Yeah. It makes it spooky.
Yeah.
Now, the Jemison building is inexplicably omitted from nearly all accessible written records regarding Bryce Hospital, and coincidentally, quote, "A review of state records on mental health in Alabama was most notable for a lack of reference to African Americans." So they notably left all of this out.
Mm.
Like they try to erase it from history.
Wrong. Can't do that.
Now, Alabama, of course, resisted the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and desegregation as long as it could. But eventually, Bryce was desegregated, and the Jemison Center was closed, possibly around 1977, which means we will never truly understand the deplorable things these people endured while being imprisoned here. For the first time ever, though, online accounts of real people visiting and having a spooky experience outweigh what we could find on this place. So let's see what some of those people have to say about what's happening there today.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm
Now,
ready.
On the website, alabamahauntedhouses.com, someone wrote just a couple months ago, quote, "Last weekend, my son and his best friend wanted to go explore, so we walked through each floor of both wings. It had rained the night before, and it was difficult to distinguish the sounds of water dripping at times from anything that might be supernatural. An entire square section of the left wing third floor has indeed collapsed through the second floor, all the way down to the ground level, making the first floor left west wing difficult to safely access from inside, except from the second floor stairwell. All the stairwells are a slip hazard due to the accumulation of terracotta ceiling tiles and debris scattered around. My son's friend swears he heard someone laughing soon after we first entered from the rear center access ramp. On 2 occasions, within a few seconds of each other, on the third floor, a dark shadow seemed to quickly move away from me briefly back into a room as I walked down the east wing hallway. Both occurrences happened just at the edge of my peripheral vision as I walked past a room and really gave me an unsettled feeling like we weren't alone. When I looked directly into the room, though, with a flashlight, nothing was there. This happened around sunset when darkness started creeping in and the natural light was fading, so we left at that point to briefly explore the S.D. Allen facility down the street," unquote.
Wow. Well, we can relate to the out of the corner of your eye kind of things. That's what we experienced a lot in our old house. A lot.
Yeah.
That we may be starting to experience here.
On the same website in February of this year, someone wrote, quote, "We went just a month or so ago. We had so many events happen in just 2 short hours on the property. We started in the Jemison Center, and we heard several footsteps occur. At one point, it sounded like a man cleared his throat on the second floor east side." Just like that. Now, the west side had completely collapsed from the third floor all the way to the main floor. I guarantee that's the same section.
Yeah.
We also went to the nursing home side, and this is where it got rough. and we were just looking through rooms trying to get EVPs. Well, there was 4 to 6 rooms we would hear noises out of. We would go to one room and hear noises in a room behind us or adjacent to us. We felt as if we were going crazy. In one room that appeared to be an exam room, due to the size and how it was set up. I got overwhelmed with emotion and sat down on the dirty floor feeling sad and angry. Once I stood up, I noticed the back of my neck was burning, and it had scratches down the base of my neck almost to my shoulder blades. It was burning and showed up red, and you could see the scratch marks. And then I was ready to go after being affected. As I'm walking out, I hear something run up behind me, and I felt someone, I'm assuming, trying to push me. I could feel the coldness on my back. This place is amazing for activity. If you go, please be prepared. Also, it is posted as no trespassing. So if cops catch you, then you could be fined or arrested. Happy hunting.
Happy hunting.
Happy hunting.
I like that. Super nice.
Don't get busted.
After, something definitely tried to
Don't
push
go to
me
jail.
and scratch the crap out of me. So happy hunting.
And no thanks. On reddit.com, just 2 months ago, user Ryan CC wrote, "If you see this comment, do not, and I repeat, do not go to Bryce." Now, I had to make sure, but they are talking about Jemison.
Okay.
I've been there 2 times with my cousin and a buddy of mine, and there's a lot of stuff that happened in just 2 of those times. This is going to make sense later in the story. But when my aunt was about our age, she went to Bryce with 3 of her friends. And then there appeared 3 other people that walked out of the woods out of nowhere. And they said they can show them where all the craziest rooms are. I don't know how true this is or not, but they're said to be ghosts. Fast forward to the first time we go. My buddy brought a spirit radar with us to see if it says anything while we walked around. When we pull up, we park in a church parking lot. To get in the main part, you got to go to a big field, and there are dark trails surrounded by woods. We eventually make it to the Jemison Center. We start walking around and looking in rooms and at all the graffiti everywhere on the walls. Eventually, we saw a tiny bird come out of another room, and I kid you not, the bird literally starts flying over us wherever we went. Eventually, we turn a corner, and there's, quote, "The bird is the word," written on the wall. As soon as we looked at that and looked back, the bird was gone. None of us ever heard it fly away. Another part that will make sense, and I don't know if it's true, my buddies from school went here about 4 or 5 years ago and saw a mattress lit on fire by itself in the middle of a room. We walked down a hallway, and the radar randomly said, "Fire." And then right after, we turn into the first room in the hallway, and there was a half-burnt mattress on the floor. If that isn't a sign of it being haunted, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's a lot of coincidence there.
Oh, yeah. Now, eventually, when we were about to walk out of the building to go to the other building right next to the Jemison Center, the radar goes, "Please leave." So we ended up leaving and going home right after it said that.
Bye.
Fast forward a week later, and the 3 of us go back to Bryce to finish the other building, and we're walking down the path. We end up seeing a random group of 3 people. They came out of the woods, but we never heard leaves crunching, and they didn't have flashlights. One of them had a baseball bat, and I was immediately sketched out. And they said they can show us where all the best rooms are. So we explored the second building with them. Next thing you know, we went into a room, we came back out, and they were nowhere to be found. Never heard them leave or even saw
Nope,
flashlights.
I knew it.
They had
I knew
ghost
it.
tour guides.
I mean,
I knew
that's
it.
what they're claiming. You should have seen, honestly, the comment section for that was wild.
I'm sure.
People were lighting them up.
I'm sure. Like that's everything is too pinpointed and
It is.
exact. You
It
know what
is,
I mean?
But hey, look, it's an experience.
I mean, if it happened, it happened.
Head at it. While there was no shortage of stories, here's one
Ooh,
more
better
from
you just on camera.
AlabamaHauntedHouses.com.
That'd be better.
June of 2023. Quote, the first time I went with my buddies, we were in a room and my friend said his chest started to hurt. Weird. He never has
Really?
chest pains.
Why?
Soon after he said that, we heard something heavy breathing and walking above us. As we started to leave, my buddy had chest pains again. We started to run and we turned around and saw a human-sized shadow figure behind us with eyes reflecting in the flashlights. We almost got to the car and my friend has chest pains once more and we all hear a little girl saying, "Hi, come back." And she sounded like she was in distress. The second time we went back, it wasn't as scary, but every time my buddy had chest pains, we would soon hear something being thrown seconds after, along with the feeling like we were being watched. It's not bad. There's a lot of accounts of shadow figures, and if you see videos online, you actually see them.
I think shadow figures are more common than anybody
Gives
kind of
them
really
credit.
thinks, like they're hard to catch on video and things like that. But like,
Are they? Because if you go online, go to YouTube, where you're probably watching this, and look up Old Bryce, because I think that's what they're mostly labeled as.
okay.
And people have a lot of run-ins with shadow figures and what we are going to assume are actual people, but we're not sure.
Hmm.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Now, today, the Jemison Center is a charred ruin that is slowly being reclaimed by nature and visibly collapsing. The roof of the building has been consumed by fire with heavy damage on the upper levels. Most of the interior has no recognizable signs of its prior purpose and has been heavily vandalized, and it seems that it's slowly fading away from existence, much like the stories of those who were tortured and enslaved there years ago.
Mm.
And that's the story of the Jemison building.
Wow. I I have very mixed emotions about this.
I do too, but it's because normally I can find an abundance of tales of a place, just
right.
Like online articles and spooky websites that all tell a story of a place being haunted. This is the first time ever that I barely found any of that, but the personal accounts there was so many. I could have just kept writing and writing and writing and
And
finding
that's crazy
stories.
too, because like we kind of dived into the TripAdvisor style type things, and they're harder to find than what you can find in articles most of the
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
And
Like by a
it's
lot.
very interesting that
Yeah.
this place just is so chock full of
It was
personal
there's
experiences
an
as opposed to the
overwhelming
article stuff.
there's an overwhelming amount of personal stories about this place
Wow. That's super interesting.
because it's a local legend place and people go there all the time. They're not supposed to. I mean,
Right.
you get in trouble if you go, but
Most of
peop-
these places are like that though.
people go though, and their videos on YouTube and their stories are all online, and
Mhm.
there's just an amazing amount of stories.
Wow.
I've
That's
never
funny
seen
because
this
I
before,
also
but
heard
what's
a
really
one
important
story
about all this,
of a person who go into a haunted building. They got so scared, they bump into a security guard, and he freaking out like, "No, please take me away, please, 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 away from here." And okay, like, but you had to tell me what happened. Nope, I do not want to tell you. Nope, like, okay, and let's leave, and then you tell me. Like, yeah, yeah, let's do that. They leave, they go outside, like, and then he explained, I heard something whisper my name. I look around. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Nothing there. Like, okay, what you see? And I turn around, heard my name one more time. I saw a dark ass shadow figure right in my face, and he freaked the hell out, and he run for it. Sever, are you okay? Like, uh-huh. Hmm. Look, the brain of Silver's melted. Try to complain of life itself. What to do to life? Cry in a corner or cry in a corner? Like, Oh wait, she needs to talk through microphone, but not no more. Not no more. So sad. I already miss her voice. Now I can talk. I hate you. I hate you very much. I hope so your too full demon friend will haunt your dreams and scare the living shit out of you. Guess what? Too late. They did. Ha. 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 In a sense, but she also not helping me with having insets on off painting of my ribs. So someone is giving you a big fat hug. Anytime. You're not finished your tapping. Oh no. That's bad. Sleep one eye open.
The super important part?
This is very, very important. We need to know whether or not you of all people think
Me?
that this is real.
I do.
Or do you think this is real?
Oh my God. I do. I do think this is real. I think the overabundance of personal experiences just kind of solidify that for me.
Mhm. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. And there, again, whether we do the land or the energy that's left behind from the history and all of that, I don't know. I think it's just this big collaboration of things that make this place haunted. So, yes.
True that.
What about you, babe?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there is something haunting this place, and I don't know. I assume it's the hospital because of the treatment of the mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
But the land also, there was a lot of Native American battles going on here.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there was death on this land before. There was mistreatment and death after. I could only imagine how scary it must be to already have mental issues, especially way back when, and then to be mistreated and tortured on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother layer to that 7-layer dip. Then, yeah, yeah.
7-layer dip is great.
So somehow, big old seal of approval.
That's
You guys will get to see this now. I don't know how I'm going to put this in here, but we'll figure it out.
all right.
And that is the Jemison Center or Old Bryce Hospital. I wish this could have been a longer episode. There just wasn't enough.
Hey, and you know what? It was enough for us to say it was haunted.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and it's a very sad tale.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
the
100%.
people there were just not treated well.
It's so
It
unfortunate.
bums me out because like I have friends in other countries
hmm
and I hate talking about like history with them, right? Because our history sucks.
It
We have
does.
parts
It
of our
so
history.
does.
We have parts of our history that are rad. You know, like I
Yeah.
love
Oh yeah.
the old west and stuff. Like I love stuff like that. It's all the other stuff that happened with it
I know.
that makes it. I hate talking about it because it's, you know,
It's awful. It's terrible.
I was born in 1980. I had a lot of black friends growing up, and I just couldn't imagine what this time period was like
No.
for people. You
And
know, it's
I know.
crazy.
I know.
But that's the story of Jemison. We could go on and on and on.
We
But
could.
where can they find us?
Well, they can find us on Instagram at @forthebooze_podcast and on Facebook at For the Booze.
You can also find us on X at For the Booze, right here on YouTube at For the Booze. You know, where to find the
Used to
rest
be
of the
Twitter,
videos.
and that no
You can
more.
also find us on. I haven't really been keeping up with the TikTok. I'm probably going to need to, but
Yeah,
we are
maybe.
on TikTok and just anywhere else
Burn
you search
it.
for us. We're there. Don't forget also.
Burn.
If you have a listener
Burn it.
suggestion or a personal story you'd like us to read, we'd still like those.
Yes,
Send
absolutely.
Send those in to. That's going to be our new thing, right?
Yeah.
As I go to say forthebooze12gmail.com, you talk over me.
I really want listener stories and I'm very passionate about it. Okay.
Forthebooze12@gmail.com. It'll be like right here. Go ahead and send it into there. Yeah, we can do that now. It's a great.
So write it down.
And there is one more very important thing that I cannot stress enough that we need to really make this happen. And there's other stuff past this, but it is 5 stars. Rate and review on iTunes, especially, but anywhere you listen, it really
Yes.
does help. Doesn't seem like it does. I know it's a pain to do it, but it really helps. And the last thing, if you would like to join the ranks of our Patreons like Joe Madden and Teresa O'Donnell or Terry, I'm sorry, I don't know which one you want. Tell me on Patreon. And now Tina.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that last name. I don't even know if that is your last name, but it'll be at the end of this video.
Our new Patreon
That's right.
friend.
So if you'd like
Yay.
to join them, I mean, ultimately through time, it's just going to make the show better because we're going to. None of that money is for personal use. It's going to go to new camera, new computer.
We want to keep doing the show and we want to keep making it better for you guys.
That's right. And we'd like to eventually get a point to where we have like merchandise.
Yeah. And if you want to become a Patreon member, head over on to
For the Booze.
For the Booze on Patreon. And we
For
do
the Booze everywhere.
We do an extra podcast on there.
That's
We
right.
do early releases of our regular podcast and all of that good stuff. So, come over and check us out.
Yeah, because that's where we do the thing.
That's right.
This is going to be the end of this week. Go ahead and take us out, babe.
Well, thank you everybody so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Stay out of the woods, kids.
Okay, pause. I would have something planned for you. Pause it, damn it. There we go. 1. What the hell I just heard in the middle of one of the episodes that I see in a video? They just heard the damn Looney Tunes theme that night. That's all, folks. I thought I was on drugs. I thought on drugs. Anyway. I knew it. I knew the story of they saw 3 guys come out of the woods with no leaf crack. They don't hear leaves stepping or breaking or whatnot. I knew it. Knew it. That's the first clue. Always listen to sound around you. If someone said "Hey, we know a spooky room you can go to," you dead, aren't you? You are spirit. I'm going to probably follow you to your old room. That no one never thinks you can actually follow spirits. And people said bullshit story. The thing is, I'm always curious of what happened. You actually record shit. And record your investigation. Now, of course, no one will not believe you, but the thing is, if you have a concrete proof about you like find this. I know it's hard to record stuff, but let's say you go to like a workplace and they say it's haunted. You should buy yourself a damn police body cam. And tell them that, yeah, I want to record stuff because I don't have no proof, no nothing. And study that body camera and see how good it is at nighttime or daytime. That play around and get used to it. But damn. Anyway. Well, time to go sleep. Good night, folks. And send to.